Choice independent insurance agents are free to do what's right for you. Find yours at trustedchoice.com.
Cubs and Brewers, game one of a doubleheader. Trevor Cahill getting his warm-up pitches in right now as several of the first few batters for the Brewers in the on-deck circle right now, getting ready for this game one. Bright sunshine here at Wrigley Field today. Blue skies. Wind blowing in today for the most part. The flags in the right field right now are relatively still. It is 80 degrees as we get ready to start with the Cubs and Brewers, and game time temperature sponsored by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. For all the right reasons, call 866-4-SEASONS. Ron Coomer, what's going on over there, man?
I am doing good. Are you ready for a long day of baseball? And welcome to play-by-play here for the first time this season.
Finally made the front row.
You're in the front row.
Yeah,
I see you puffing out your chest a little bit.
Absolutely.
I see you.
Big league mark is here.
It's good, and we do have a lot of baseball to be played today, but we got a perfect day to do it. It'll be a fun day.
As we get ready to go, Trevor Cahill is ready, as is the leadoff hitter, Jonathan Villar, for the Brewers. And here comes the first pitch. It is in there. Fastball, strike one to Villar. Jonathan Villar, the leadoff hitter for the Brewers, having a pretty good year. 302, 9 homers, and 41 RBIs, as Cahill brings his second delivery a little bit outside. So 1-1. Trevor Cahill, 4-4 with a 4.83 ERA. What do you expect from him today, Drew?
Well, you're going to see a lot of fastballs, two-seamers primarily.
Pitch grounded up the middle, base hit for the leadoff hitter, Villar. So Villar takes a big turn at first, puts on the brakes, and comes back as Fowler gets it back in. So the leadoff man is on for the Brewers in the person of Jonathan Villar.
And that's what you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see, if Trevor Cahill is throwing the ball like he is capable, he has a great two-seam fastball, good movement going into the right-hander and going down. So you'll see a lot of ground ball action from Cahill. The key when you're a ground ball pitcher is getting balls hit at the infielders. If you do, usually you're going to have a good day.
Orlando Arcia now digs in, the shortstop for the Brewers. First pitch to him, a little bit outside, ball one. Cahill making his first appearance since July 8th, as he was put on the DL earlier with patellar tendonitis in his right knee. Here's the 1-0 pitch now to Arcia. Throw over to first, out at first base as Cahill picks off Jonathan Villar.
Great pickoff move by Cahill. He's got very quick feet. Villar got out there a long way and then looked back at the field after he got picked off like he lost his footing. But to me, that's an issue for the base runner because he did not take a peek or at least draw a throw over to see what kind of move Cahill had. Council's still looking to see, and they are not going to review this play. Villar got picked off on a great play by Cahill and a very nice snap tag by Anthony.
Meantime, the 1-0 to Arcia, a little bit low, ball one. So Villar, even on the single, he looked really anxious to get to second base on a ball to Dexter Fowler that was not one where he should have taken that big of a turn. You got to respect the aggressiveness, but ultimately he gets picked off. Meantime, the 2-0 to Arcia, and there's a little pop-up towards Anthony Rizzo, drifting back into right field. Ben Zobrist behind him, and Ben Zobrist calls him off and makes the play for the second out of the inning.
Little gamesmanship by Anthony as he reaches up, but he's about 15 feet in front of Zobrist like he was going to catch it. But second out of the inning, good pitch by Cahill. Got in on Arcia and just popped him up.
Today is what you would call a high sky, isn't it? I don't see any clouds over the immediate playing area.
Yeah, right over Wrigley Field, it is a high sky, and what will happen is there are times where depth perception can be a problem when there are no clouds. So as of right now, a high sky.
Thank you. See, I learn from you every day. Here's Scooter Gennett. First pitch to him, fastball inside corner, strike. Scooter Gennett, the number 3 hitter for the Milwaukee Brewers, came up with the Brewers. Trevor Cahill goes into his windup, pitch, and therefore a strike, a curveball. So 0-2 on Gennett with Trevor Cahill working pretty quickly.
Yeah, Cahill so far so good. He has kept the ball down. Good movement on a two-seamer, and that one just mixed in a little breaking ball.
The 0-2 to Gennett. Little pop foul towards the third base side, out of play. So we'll do the 0-2 again.
So Cahill's going to go back and forth, Mark. He's going to throw the two-seam fastball, which is his best pitch, curveball and changeup. Speed Gun today is sponsored by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience sports.
Pitch in the dirt for a ball. Scooter Gennett helps out by grabbing it and flipping back to one of the ball boys. But 1-2, 2 outs. We are in the top of the first inning. Cubs and Brewers, game 1 of a doubleheader, no score, along with Ron Coomer. I'm Mark Grody, filling in for Pat Hughes. The 1-2 count in the dirt again. Trying to get Gennett to go fishing, and the count now 2-2. Cahill did make 6 starts for AAA Iowa. They've been planning this for a while, get him stretched out down there to make this start today. And he is familiar with starting. That's like many guys who are bullpenners. He started as a starter. Meantime, the 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3 on the outside corner, and Gennett is out. And so are the Brewers in the top of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first. Cubs.
EIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 758-195. Call toll free for credit costs and terms.
Nika Chicago and IBEW Local 134 knock it out of the park to deliver a new era of renewable energy and electrical solutions. Visit NECAIBEWChicago.com.
To the bottom of the first, Cubs and Brewers, no score. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Dexter Fowler getting ready to go. Jump man. The leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Dexter Fowler gets to hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository. As Fowler gets ready, steps out of the box and getting ready to face Matt Garza, 1-3 with a 3.07 earned run average this year, 11 starts. He has been slowed for a lot of the season, spent a lot of time on the disabled list due to a lat strain, but Garza is back. 6'4", 220 as he gets ready to go against Dexter Fowler, and the third baseman, VR, way in right now, anticipating a bunt, and Fowler shows bunt and takes a strike.
Well, Fowler showing bunt is just kind of lets Garza know that the Cubs are thinking about it. Garza has a lot of issues fielding his position and throwing to the bases.
The 0-1 outside. So 1-1 to Fowler. What can we expect from Mr. Garza today?
Well, he's got a good fastball. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup guy. He's got a good arm. He's thrown decent the last 2 starts. He's got 3 wins in a row.
Here's the 1-1. And that's in there for a strike. So 1-2 on Dexter Fowler here in the bottom of the first, no score with Chris Bryant on deck.
The big key for Garza is to have command. Now, in the last 2 games, the Brewers have scored 26 runs for him over the last 2 ball games. So that will help you win a couple games.
The pitch to Fowler in the dirt and low. So count evens up at 2-2 on the leadoff hitter, Dexter Fowler.
Brewers with a big shift now with 2 strikes on Fowler. And that will just tell you that Garza is going to try to pitch inside to Fowler and throw him some breaking balls and get him to roll over a ground ball.
Yeah, they got the Rizzo wall up over on the right side. If he decides to go oppo, he could go a long way. Garza taking his time, staring down the sign, brings the pitch, and Fowler fouls it straight back. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Of course, you know Matt Garza used to be with the Cubs from 2011 to 2013. Joe Madden had him in Tampa Bay from 2008 until 2010. So all sorts of dots to connect as it pertains to Matt Garza, who goes into his windup. The pitch to Fowler, a little bit high. So Fowler, like he does, works the count full.
Yeah, 92-mile-an-hour heater inside to Fowler. The one thing Garza will do is throw a lot of elevated fastballs. If the Cubs can swing at heaters in the zone, they'll do well today against Garza.
The full count, and the pitch is hit into right field for a base hit for Dexter Fowler. So Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository. That's just a terrific at-bat by Dexter Fowler. Even with the shift on, he works the count full, and then a line drive base hit into right field.
Yeah, it's a good at-bat, and what he does is just what we were talking about. You make Garza throw strikes, you lay off the breaking ball down, and the fastball up and in out of the zone. You get a heater in the zone, and Dexter whistled one into right field for the Cubs' first hit.
So we'll keep an eye on Dexter Fowler on first base. Meantime, Chris Bryant digs into the box with that back foot way on the back on the paint. Matt Garza looks over his shoulder at Fowler, brings the pitch, hit hard and off the glove of the third baseman VR, who scoops it up, goes to second. Fowler out at second. Bryant safe at first on the fielder's choice. A roaring drive off the glove of the third baseman, VR, who calmly collected himself and had all day to make the throw over to second and get Dexter Fowler.
Well, this game is about 40 to 45 minutes earlier than a normal day game. And for some players, you know, that you wake up a little slow. I guarantee you VR is awake now, because that ball was a rocket off the bat of Bryant, and it hit him right in the glove, and he didn't make the catch, but they did get the force. But when you get a ball hit that hard at you right away, you're game on now, I promise you.
That was like the game the other night when I think it was Javier Baez who came in as a third base replacement when Aroldis Chapman was pitching. And the first two balls just scalded at him. You best be ready.
You're awake.
Yeah.
We're game on now.
Yep, we're coffee. Anthony Rizzo now digs in and takes a check swing. No swing. Ball one. So Chris Bryant on first base.
I was talking to Anthony this morning in the clubhouse. He said, you know, Coom, today would be a really good day to have that ace swing going. And, you know, the master of the obvious, you know, I said it would be, Anthony. You're probably going to get about 10 at-bats today. I said, if you hit that pitch inside about 3 good times, you could have a really good day. He just smiled, and we'll see what happens.
1-0 Riz. Matt Garza staring down Chris Bryant. Now brings the pitch, swung on a miss, off speed. Nice pitch by Garza, so 1-1. 1 out, bottom of the first inning. Cubs and Brewers, no score. Again, I'm Mark Grody, filling in for Pat Hughes. Just has a planned day off today. Pat will be back for the rest of this 4-game series against the Crew. 1-1 now, and Rizzo shows bunt. It's a ball in the dirt. Chris Bryant not able to advance. 2-1. As Bryant maybe just keeping Garza anxious, keeping him honest a little bit.
Well, I think what's going on, too, that is a little bit to keep that in Garza's head, Cubs bunting, but also VR was playing way over around where the shortstop would play, so if Anthony did get the ball down, it'd be a base hit. But I like Anthony's bat in motion.
And I like Rizzo with a 2-1 count, which it is. Swung on and missed a huge swing by Anthony Rizzo, but he comes up empty.
Yeah, that's that inside heater we were talking about a minute ago. Anthony's going to see a boatload of them in a doubleheader today. The big key is making it be a strike. Anthony has done a very good job of that this year. 25 times he has made that fastball be a strike, and he's launched 25 of them so far.
Chris Bryant getting a decent lead over at first base. Garza looks at him, brings the 2-2 now to Rizzo, who hits a little single into center field. Chris Bryant around second. He will take third. So the Cubs in business. They have runners first and third, and 1 out for Ben Zobrist.
A really nice at-bat by Anthony. Is this an off-speed pitch? Only one of the at-bat from Garza. It's a little breaking ball, and it's in the middle of the plate about knee-high, and Anthony just shoots this ball back through the middle. So 2 big swings of the bat from Anthony, came up empty, and then he just shortened up with a little 2-strike approach and just bangs one back through the middle.
Never gets old to watch the Anthony Rizzo 2-strike approach, the way he choked it up on the bat, and, you know, it's not like he's giving into it, because we've seen Anthony Rizzo hit a lot of 3-2, 0-2 home runs when he's choking up. He can still power the ball, but keeps him honest, and it works for him.
Well, it's a good thing because, you know, the swing shortens a little, but what it does when you choke up a little bit like Anthony does, it really gives you control of the barrel of the bat, and that's what's been extremely successful for Anthony.
First and third, 1 out. Ben Zobrist batting lefty against the righty Garza, who brings the first pitch high and outside. So the first 2 batters for the Cubs, or the 2 and 3 guys, I should say, working excellent at-bats, as did Dexter Fowler. Ben Zobrist now with a 1-0 count. Both runners get their leads, and that is up high. So 2-0 on Zobrist with Addison Russell on deck. Game 1 of a doubleheader, Cubs and Brewers, a day-night doubleheader. A blast to have you with us on Cubs Radio as well, and a pretty good crowd for Game 1 of a doubleheader at a strange starting time with the 12:20 start for the day-night doubleheader. There are empty seats here, some, but not as many as maybe one would suspect in the first game of a doubleheader. Meantime, the 2-0 count to Ben Zobrist, and that is in there for a strike. 2-1, 1 out, runners first and third.
Have to watch Anthony at first base. He might be moving. He has got a walking lead a couple different times from first base. So if he gets a walking lead and he has movement and Garza does not make him stop, wouldn't surprise me here if Anthony takes off.
Count 2-1 on Zobrist. The pitch to him is outside. So hitters count for Zobrist. Matt Garza walks behind the mound. And Matt Garza, unlike a lot of the Cubs pitchers, does like to take his time.
Yeah, he definitely does, especially in situations like this where he has got men in scoring position.
As he stares down his catcher, Manny Pena. The 3-1 pitch to Zobrist swung on and fouled towards the first base side. Brandon Hyde, the Cubs' first base coach, having to skip out of the way. I would imagine one has to become pretty adept. If you're a first base coach or a third base coach, you better do your stretches before the game.
And keep your eye on the baseball, because you're only about 90 feet at the most from home plate. That ball will get on you in a hurry, as VR found out off the bat, Bryant.
Gary Jones, the Cubs' third base coach. Brandon Hyde, as we said, over at first base, both in excellent shape. The 3-2 count now to Zobrist with Rizzo going, ball 4. So the Cubs with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning, getting to Matt Garza. No score. Addison Russell now coming up with the bags packed.
Yeah, it's a very good at-bat by Zobrist. Anthony was moving on the pitch. And as Zobrist has been very, very well, done an unbelievable job at taking pitches early in ball games and just making the pitcher work. One of the great things that Zobrist does. I really haven't seen many hitters be able to work a count as good as Zobrist has for the Cubs this season.
All right, so here's Addison Russell, 71 RBIs this season. He loves spots like this. Garza looks all around the diamond, brings the pitch to Russell, way out in front of a changeup. Strike 1. So 0-1 on Addy, with Chris Coughlin on deck. Chris Coughlin getting the start in left field today. Game 1 of a doubleheader. I see all sorts of interesting lineup changes throughout the day and throughout Game 2 as well. But right now, the 0-1 to Russell. Russell with a foul ball right side drifting out of play, and it is out of place. Chris Carter, the first baseman for the Brewers, gave it a look over by the tarp and said not going to happen. But an 0-2 count now on Addison Russell with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Yeah, Addison's going to have to battle this at bat. You want to put the ball in play. With his speed, if he puts the ball in play, the Cubs could score a run.
And Chris Bryant on third probably should be alert for the ball in the dirt, as that's what Garza's been doing when he has gotten ahead of guys, is depending on his catcher Manny Pena to make the stop. And here comes the pitch, and a little blooper into left field. Coming on is Neuenhuis, makes the catch. Here's Bryant tagging up, trying to score, and he is safe at the plate. Throw down to second, and Rizzo is back in there. One on the sac fly RBI for Ben Zobrist. The Cubs lead the Brewers 1-0.
Excellent job by Addy as he gets a heater inside, and I'm kind of surprised Garza went to a fastball inside, and Addison Russell does a very good job of keeping that ball in the field of play, but getting it deep enough to drive in Bryant. So a very good job by Addy, and as we said, and Mark, you said, how good Addison has been in these big situations with men in scoring position. He drives in his 72nd run of the season for the Cubs' young shortstop.
Yeah, and there's been so many times this year where he's been down in the count, 0-2s like he was there, and Addison Russell does come up with the RBI and RBIs to make sure all of your business goals get across home plate, make the Village of Bedford Park a winning home for your business. It is Chris Coughlin now with runners first and second. He shows bunt and fouls it off. Cubs with a 1-0 lead against Milwaukee. Addison Russell with the RBI. Cubs still with runners first and second, but 2 outs now.
Yeah, and I'm sure Joe Madden didn't like that play. With Coughlin showing bunt, you got a man in scoring position with 2 outs, and Chris, being a left-handed hitter, I'm sure Joe is going to want him to swing the bat and try to drive in a run.
With another lefty on deck in Jason Hayward. So the 0-1 count to Chris Coughlin, swung on and fouled off, just barely foul, as Manny Pena, the catcher, popped up immediately and tried to save it from going foul, just not able to. So 0-2 on Chris Coughlin with 2 on. The Cubs a 1-0 lead against the Brewers here in the first.
Boy, just a beautiful day here at Wrigley Field, and as you were saying, there's not many empty seats. I know it could be a little bit of a late arriving crowd with the 12:20 start, but man, a great crowd. Perfect day for baseball. Bright sunshine here. Wrigley, look at the rooftops. Just packed. The whole place. We drove in today. The whole neighborhood was rocking when we got here early this morning.
Wind blowing in. The 0-2 now. Way inside. Almost hit Coughlin. Got out of the way.
It always amazes me on these early start days. Not the 1 o'clock, but when we start a little earlier with these split doubleheaders. And we get here early. We're 9:30-ish, 9:30. Yeah, we're definitely here for coffee and breakfast.
Yep.
But how many people are around the neighborhood that early in the morning getting ready for a Cubs game?
I'm always stunned by that. Meantime, the 1-2 to Coughlin fouled off as Gary Jones, near the third base box, just put his arms up like, get me out of the way of that. And I'm sure he's hearing it from some of the guys in the Cubs dugout.
Anthony Rizzo at second base. Better be careful. Pena, the catcher, was looking to backpick Anthony after that last pitch.
First and second, 2 outs. Matt Garza getting ready to bring the 1-2 to Chris Coughlin. He does, and Coughlin fouls it back to the screen once again.
Very good at-bat for Coughlin and good at-bats for the Cubs. They've scored a run in this inning, but now 27 pitches for Matt Garza here in the first. So the Cubs offense doing their job against Garza, who can be a little erratic. They've extended their at-bats and driven in a run here in the first.
Seems like we see that in most games lately, where the starting pitcher for the opposing team has 30, 40, 50 pitches by the third inning or so. Coughlin with a grounder up the middle, scooped by the shortstop Arcia, throws across the diamond to first base, and Coughlin is out. But as we head to the second and take strike 1 from Trevor Cahill.
So far, so good for Trevor. His sinker looks like he's got good movement on the heater today.
Next pitch, a little bit outside for a ball. So 1-1 to big Chris Carter. Fouls this one off, so 1-2. Chris Carter with 27 home runs and 66 RBIs for the Brewers this year. Beautiful 80 degrees today at Wrigley Field as Trevor Cahill goes into his windup, and that one is a little bit low, so 2-2. I feel like if you're playing a doubleheader, it has to be beautiful in game 1. Like, there can't possibly be the threat of any bad weather. It's not even fair from the baseball gods. Here's the pitch to Carter, and they appeal down to first base on the check swing, and Tom Woodring says safe, so it's 3-2 now. Full count to Carter leading off the second inning for the Brewers. Cubs leading at 1-0. Pitch from Cahill. Little grounder up the middle. Cahill thought about it. Instead, Zobrist grabs it right around second base, throws to Rizzo for the out.
Yeah, so pretty smart move by Cahill to let that ball go as it hit. It was kind of a cue shot off the end of the bat, and when it hits the mound, it's going to kind of explode with that second hop. So he was smart to let it go and let Zobrist make the play. But I think you're right. We wouldn't want to have bad weather in Game 1, that's for sure.
Right.
And we have an absolute perfect afternoon for baseball, that's for sure.
There's Hernan Perez now. Swung on and missed by their right fielder, Perez. Yeah, if there is a baseball god's almanac, it should be in there. Like there will be no bad weather because you're already having this doubleheader as a result of bad weather. As Perez takes a ball, 1-1.
Well, we referred to the baseball gods, and if you go by the book, so somebody had to write the book.
Here's a grounder, backhanded by Russell. Nice play, strong throw, and Perez is out at first.
Boy, just an excellent play by Addison as he goes in the hole, slides, and from the outfield grass, stands up, plants that right foot, and takes a little step and throws a bullet across the diamond to get Perez. So an excellent play by Addy. He made that play look easy. It definitely is not. Second out of the inning.
He's got that little slide backhand perfected now. He really does. As Kirk Neuenhuis steps in and takes ball 1 from Trevor Cahill.
So far in the ballgame, we talked about a lot of balls hit on the ground with Cahill on the bump. There's been one pop out to the second baseman, Zobrist, and a strikeout. Other than that, every ball on the ground.
Meantime, a line drive, base hit into right field for Neuenhuis. So Neuenhuis on with 2 outs, and the Cubs leading 1-0 in the second inning. And somebody probably just got in their car, and they're driving around. They're like, why is Grody doing the game? Pat Hughes has the day off today, a planned day off. He'll be back. Ron Coomer is here. Dave Rock'n'Roll Miska is here. David Schuster is here doing the pre- and post game. We've got Joe Ostrowski and Rick Camp back in our downtown Chicago studios. So our MVP, even our MVP needs a day off every once in a while as Keon Broxton steps in and takes strike 1.
So, Patrick, enjoy your day off. We will see you tomorrow. He will be back tomorrow, but enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Sure, he's going to be hanging out, listening to Cubs baseball, probably grilling out, maybe a little salmon.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to believe that's in the cards for our partner.
There's a strike on the outside corner, fastball, 0-2.
A little lunch of salmon and asparagus. I'm just saying. I like my chances of my guess, but
do you have any asparagus?
Yeah, enjoy your day off, buddy, and we will see you tomorrow.
And if you want, Pat, feel free to text in your attendance guess. 0-2, runner goes, throw down to second by Montero, and he is out at second base. Montero nails Neuenhuis, and that ends the inning. It's a nice way to end an inning. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Cubs 1, Brewers 0. On the score and the Xfinity Cubs radio, Matt Garza here, who is at 28 pitches. And we're in the bottom of the second inning. Hayward digging in. First pitch to him is high and tight, ball 1. So been some good defense for the Cubs so far. Trevor Cahill with a pickoff. Addison Russell with a nice backhanded play deep in the hole at short. Miguel Montero with a caught stealing. And the 1-0 count to Jason Hayward. And that is a little bit outside.
Neuenhuis took a little bit of time getting to left field after being caught stealing by great throw by Montero. Miggy came out of the chutes firing, but Neuenhuis did the old face plant into second base. And I think he left his chin at the second base bag. It just showed a shot in our monitor of him in left field, still trying to spit out the dirt from his head-first dive into the bag at second.
You know, and Neuenhuis has been a little bit of a mini Cubs killer.
Oh, yeah.
Especially this year. I think he has 3 home runs against the Cubs this year, 2 in the last game they played against the Cubs. Meantime, Hayward takes a strike on the outside corner, so 2-2 to the leadoff man Hayward here in the second inning.
Yeah, Neuenhuis is one of those players that you wonder when it's going to click in him and really take the next step to being one of those players that you build around, or he's an everyday guy. He's only hitting .211, but he's got those capabilities, no doubt.
The 2-2 to Hayward, grounder to short. Arcia has it, throws over to first for the out. So Hayward out number 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Yeah, Brewers are interesting because they've pretty much been trading everybody for the last couple of years, and it is definitely fortifying their minor league system. They have, if not the best, one of the top minor league organizations. So in the future, the idea for the Brewers is that they will once again will be to be reckoned with. But, trading off their best players, Jonathan Lucroy obviously being traded this year, Jeremy Jeffress, Will Smith traded to San Francisco. Ryan Braun, the most recognizable name, and he has game one off today as Miguel Montero steps in. Pitch from Montero, big swing and a miss.
Well, I think their manager is a guy that can take these young guys, teach them how to play big league baseball and teach them winning big league baseball. Craig Counsell, a very good player.
The 0-1 to Montero, off speed, swung on and missed 0-2 very quickly on Montero.
Yeah, Counsell's one of those guys. I've known Counsell since he was a college student and a college player at Notre Dame. Had great success winning 2 World Series as a player.
A little high to Montero.
So when you bring in a young group of players like this, like the Cubs did, I mean, you look at this Cubs group. They're one of the youngest teams in all of baseball, and now Milwaukee is trying to do this same thing the Cubs did. And they will be a very good team here very, very quickly.
The 1-2 pitch to Montero was fouled off to the left side and out of play. So 1-2, 1 out here. Bottom of the second inning, the Cubs leading the Brewers 1-0.
I think Milwaukee is actually, with all these young players playing, and talking to Billy Schroeder, the analyst on the TV side for Milwaukee, that they're looking at this as a learning experience for some of these young players to come into Wrigley and play in front of 41,000 people this week.
Wind up a pitch from Montero. Another foul ball out of play. Again, left side, exactly where the last one is from Montero. So Montero staying alive, a 1-2 count. Yeah, you mentioned Counsell with the World Series. He has the distinction of having been on base the last 2 times that the World Series ended in a walk-off hit.
Yep.
1997 with the Marlins when Edgar Renteria did it. The 1-2 fouled off again by Montero. Yeah, Renteria with the game-winning hit. Counsell scored the game-winning run, actually, in that case. And then 2001 for Arizona when the very memorable Luis Gonzalez barely base hit over the shortstop's head. The game-winning run actually scored by Jay Bell, but Counsell was hit by a Mariano Rivera pitch that was on base as well. So that's a pretty nice distinction. Meantime, the pitch to Montero is low for a ball, 2-2.
Yeah, Counsell had a very good career. He's been a friend for a long time, but he really knew how to play the game and understood how to get the best out of the ability he had. And I think that's a great way to teach young big league players to get the most out of your ability, not mimic someone else, but do what it is that makes you successful.
The 2-2 to Montero swung on and missed strike 3. So Montero goes down for the second out. We're in the bottom of the second. The Cubs with a 1-0 lead on the Brewers. Let's pause 10 seconds for a station ID on The Score and the Xfinity Cubs Radio Network.
Lawrence Holmes here. This is where the Cubs play. Sports Radio 670 The Score, WSCR in HD Chicago, WJMK HD2 Chicago.
2 outs, bottom of the second. Trevor Cahill, the Cubs starting pitcher, up and facing his counterpart, Matt Garza. The first pitch to him is swung on and fouled back as Cahill took a mighty cut against Garza.
Cahill's going to get his swings in. He doesn't get to hit too often, so you might as well take a shot at the left field bleachers, right?
Absolutely. 2 outs? Come on. It's a home run stance. Another swing and miss by Cahill, so 0-2. Another thing about Craig Counsell, grew up in Wisconsin, went to high school there, and went to the most Wisconsin-sounding high school that I've ever heard, Whitefish Bay High School. Is that the most Wisconsin-sounding thing you've ever heard? 0-2, swung on and missed by Cahill. Foul ball. Pena not able to gather it, so we'll do the 0-2 again with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Counsell's dad worked for the Milwaukee Brewers for many, many years. So Counsell grew up at Old County Stadium.
So would you call him a baseball brat? Then?
I would say he's been around a ball field for a very long time. Yeah.
Garza with the pitch to Cahill. It's called strike 3, so Cahill is out on strikes, and that's it for the Cubs here in the bottom of the second. To the third we go. Game 1 of a doubleheader. It's the Cubs 1 and Milwaukee nothing.
85 is probably going to be where Cahill will top out if he can stay in the ballgame that long.
Keon Broxton up, takes a 3/4 swing. Third base ump says, yes, you did go around, so strike one on Broxton, who was at the plate when Kirk Neuenhuis was gunned down trying to steal second in the second inning on a great throw by Miguel Montero. Here's a bouncer and a nice stab by Cahill. Makes an underhand flip over to Rizzo for the out. Nice play, Cahill. One out here in the third inning.
Yeah, and once again, another ground ball off a Brewer bat on a two-seamer. This pitch is elevated a little bit, but Cahill gets good late downward sink on the pitch, even if it's up. And he made a good play getting to that ball. Broxton, who runs very well, is an easy out at first. But yeah, I would think he's been stretched out enough, as you were talking about right at the beginning of the broadcast, of him pitching in the minor leagues and starting in the minor leagues. So, if he gets to 85 pitches, that would be outstanding. And, if he got through 5 innings for Joe Madden, I think Joe would be really happy about that.
Manny Pena, the Brewers catcher, standing in there with 0-1 count and 1 out. Wind up in a pitch from Cahill in the dirt outside for a ball. So 1-1. And Cahill, no stranger to starting. That's the way his career began, and had a great season in 2010 with the Oakland A's. As a matter of fact, was up there for Cy Young consideration as he gets ready to bring the 1-1 count to Pena. Here it is, and fouled off down the third baseline and into the Cubs dugout. So 1-2 now on Broxton. But yeah, that year with Oakland, 2010, Cahill 18-8 with a .297 earned run average.
Yeah, and the big thing for Trevor is command of that two-seam fastball. He gets great movement on it, and if he can throw it to either side of the plate for strikes, then all of a sudden his secondary pitches become extremely effective.
The 1-2 to Pena is low and in the dirt for a ball, so 2-2. I was actually talking to Cahill about that 2010 team, and he reminded me of some of the other guys on that staff. You had Gio Gonzalez, Ben Sheets. Almost forget. You always just think of him, I do, as a Milwaukee Brewer. Dallas Braden, of course, now working for ESPN. So some up-and-comers on that team. Meantime, here is a fly ball in a shallow left field. Addison Russell going back. Coming in is Coghlan. The two collide. Coghlan makes the catch. Coghlan is down. He looks like he might be hurt. Addison Russell is up. He's okay, but Coghlan is down and he is in pain. He makes the catch for the second out. And P.J. Mainville, the Cubs trainer, Joe Madden, the Cubs manager, both running out to left field right now as Coghlan is in pain in left field.
Yeah, the ball is hit in short left center field. Coghlan coming in, Addison Russell going out. And I don't know if anybody called this ball. And as the infielder, you go out until you hear your outfielder. But obviously there's a miscommunication. And I believe Coghlan got hit in the ribs, probably got the breath knocked out of him. Because I believe that's what happened, and now he is standing up. But he couldn't breathe for a while, but he does make the catch, and now getting a little hand from Cub fans.
He will stay in the game. That is, in any sport that you're watching, if you are a fan of it or if you are covering it like we are, when you hear the guy got the wind knocked out of him, it is the most comforting feeling that exists, even though it's the most uncomfortable thing to have happen to you.
Yeah, I'm guessing just from the way when he fell, started holding his rib cage, and that's what I'm guessing happened, but being out. And, the problem here, and it's not really a problem, but the issues that players have at Wrigley because it gets so loud on the field is the communication issue at times. Verbal communication, very difficult on the field of play here at Wrigley.
So 2 outs on the catch made by Chris Coghlan on the collision with Addison Russell. Trevor Cahill to his counterpart, Garza, who takes ball 1. Yeah, it's always a scary sight, and we can see it developing with Russell going out and that ball just sort of in that no man's land territory, like equidistant between the two, as Garza takes ball 2. 2-0 on Garza with 2 outs.
Well, Addison Russell and Javi Baez, for that matter, very good at going out and catching short fly balls. 2-0
is a strike right down the middle to Garza. And I would expect that that's probably about the way to go about Garza at this point, right down the middle. And there is a ball outside corner, a little bit outside, I should say. 3-1 now to the pitcher Garza with 2 outs here in the third. Cubs lead at 1-0. Here's the pitch from Cahill, and that is ball 4. So Garza gets a free pass. He'll have to work a little bit harder, but Cahill did not want to do that, and that does bring up the leadoff hitter, Jonathan Villar, who started the game with a base hit for the Brewers in the first inning. And was subsequently picked off by Trevor Cahill.
Yeah, Cahill just, sometimes with 2 outs after a play like could happen in left, lose a little concentration. He has thrown the ball extremely well here through the lineup the first time through.
So first pitch to Villar is in there for a called strike. 0-1 to Villar, came in hitting .302, 9 homers, 41 RBIs, the third baseman for the Brewers. Garza getting a small lead off. Rizzo not even bothering over there. Pitch inside, meantime, for a ball to Villar, 1-1. '28-year-old Trevor Cahill getting the start in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Jason Hamill in Game 2 against Chase Anderson. Pitch in there for a called strike to Villar, 1-2.
Good 2-seam fastball. Started out inside and came over that inside corner. Villar gave up on it early. Perfect pitch by Cahill.
So the 1-2 with 2 outs is high for a ball, 2-2. 2-2 is the way the scoreboard reads right now, and the pitch from Cahill is fouled off. Little dribbler down the third baseline. We'll do it again. Cubs initially signed Trevor Cahill in August of 2015. One of those guys that the Cubs took a flyer on, and he ended up being a key part to the Cubs bullpen last year and in the playoffs and the NLDS Game 2. Had a 1-2-3 eighth inning, one of the biggest innings of the playoff in terms of relief for the Cubs. Here's the 2-2 again. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Villar is out. And so are the Brewers here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Cubs 1, Milwaukee 0 on the score and the Xfinity ready to face Dexter Fowler again here to begin the third. The Cubs with a 1-0 lead, Game 1 of a doubleheader on an 80-degree, sunshiny, clear day at Wrigley Field. And the pitch to Dexter Fowler is in there for a called strike.
Dexter in his first at-bat, a sharp single to right on a fastball by Garza. He really got the game started off on the right foot. Cubs swung the bat well in the first inning off Garza.
Garza's delivery, a little bit high, 1-1 to Dexter Fowler. Fowler worked the count full in his first at-bat, as you said, with the single to start things off for the Cubs offense on this day, with Addison Russell ultimately getting the sac fly and scoring Chris Bryant from third base. The windup and the pitch from Garza, and a foul ball towards the left side into the upper decks.
Now, speaking of that foul ball, are you ready? You and David Schuster, are you guys ready to catch? Now, David's given me the I'm ready for it, but I just, you're okay with that, right?
There have been several plays, Coom, where I'm like, you got to make that play, and you don't make that play.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
There's
a ball inside to Fowler, 2-2 on Fowler.
No ball has come in our booth yet this season.
Yeah, but close. There's a couple plays that
today will be the day because you're in the booth here in the front row, and I just want to know what your skill level is.
I'm ready.
Of handling a ball coming back to the booth.
I played 2 years of high school baseball at Lake Park High School.
Okay.
In Roselle, Medina, before I couldn't play anymore. There's a pitch to Fowler. He goes full again. Ball outside, so 3-2. Yeah, didn't quite think I was good enough for the... Couldn't hit the curveball.
So behind the mic is your spot much better than on the other side? Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that where
That's
most guys go wrong, Coon,
yeah.
that you've seen? It's the curveball, right?
It can be a
3-2 to Fowler is fouled off.
Yeah.
Were you always like the best guy on your team? Like every team that you were ever on in baseball?
I was pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I could hit. Yeah, I was a baseball junkie as a kid. There's no doubt. I played as much baseball as I could play. Put it this way. When my dad came home from work, I had 2 gloves sitting on the front porch, and one was mine. And that's what we did every day he came home from work. So
can relate.
Yeah.
3-2 count to Dexter Fowler, and he walks. So Dexter Fowler, again, after working the count full, gets on base. That'll bring up Chris Bryant.
Well, the old "you go, we go" is Joe Madden's comment to Dex before every ball game, right? Dexter goes out to the on-deck circle to start the ball game. Fowler's been on twice here, and that is a very good sign for the Chicago Cubs.
So Chris Bryant at the plate with Anthony Rizzo in the hole. Chris Bryant reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. He gets ready to take another whack at Garza as Dexter Fowler gets his lead. Not a big one at this point as Bryant gets ready. First pitch to him inside. So 1-0 to Chris Bryant. Yeah, I was talking about double headers with a lot of the players before the game, and to a man, it was double headers are difficult when you're playing in them, but I love them as a kid.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that as well. To me, it was like bliss. Whether you were at the ballpark or watching, like, oh, we get to see 2 of these Cubs games today. The 1-0 to Chris Bryant. And little foul ball off to the right side and playable for the first baseman, Chris Carter, in foul territory. So Bryant is out. Obviously, no movement for Fowler on that. 1 out here in the bottom of the third with Anthony Rizzo coming out.
Yeah, the doubleheader thing when you and I were kids coming to the ballpark in Chicago here at Wrigley, were scheduled doubleheaders on Sundays a lot of times.
Evan.
So it was, I look back at it now, and it was great for me. We usually get here about first or second inning because of traffic coming from the south side of the city.
Yep.
And then you'd get to the ballpark, and there was no better babysitter in the world than 18 innings of big league baseball. You had food, drink, and the run of the joint here at Wrigley. So it was, as you say, bliss for a young kid.
I was like, I get to see Jerry Martin play twice today. As Anthony Rizzo digs in and fouls one off right into the visitors' dugout. So Jerry Martin and Bill Buckner and Mike Vail, Steve Olivares. See, I had a problem. Watched a lot of Cubs baseball.
No, that is not a problem. That is good stuff for a kid.
Absolutely. Mike Tyson, the second baseman.
Yeah.
Remember him? Larry Bittner.
Little Bit Dog. I got to know Larry, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Kingman, our favorite.
Mm-hmm. See what Anthony can do with some of these fastballs inside. He knows he's going to get a boatload of them today in this doubleheader. He has been ready for that heater inside against Garza so far in this game. So he singled in his first at-bat.
Dexter Fowler getting his lead over at first. The 0-1 count to Anthony Rizzo. Garza looking over his shoulder, brings the pitch, and it is outside for a ball. 1-1 to Rizzo. The Cubs with a 1-0 lead here. Bottom of the third inning at Wrigley Field. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Addison Russell, the lone RBI in this game. Rizzo up. Ben Zobrist on deck. Matt Garza with a long look to his catcher Pena, taking his time, and foul ball out of play by Anthony Rizzo. So 1-2 now on Anthony, coming off his 3-for-4 game when last we played against the St. Louis Cardinals with a long home run off the scoreboard in right field, a series which the Cubs ended up splitting with the St. Louis Cardinals. That said, heading into today, Cubs with a 12-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals, who are at Houston later. As Rizzo gets ready for the 1-2 count from Garza. Dexter Fowler, and he fouls this one straight back. Fowler staying put at first base. It's got to be pretty hard to consider navigating whether you go or you don't go if you're Dexter Fowler, when you have guys like Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, who can at any moment hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, I can make it real simple for you. Don't go. You can't make outs on the bases, and Dexter knows this. When you've got your two big boppers at the plate.
The 1-2 to Rizzo, and there's a little base hit, beats the shift to left field. Fowler stops at second base, and Rizzo with a little clap over at first, as that's just a good piece of hitting.
Yeah, he does a good job. This is 2 at-bats in a row that he does an excellent job of taking what Garza has given him, and he shoots this ball the other way. Earlier, he shot a base hit up the middle with 2 strikes, and now this time, as you said, beating the shift. As the third baseman, Villar was playing way around over by short. So 2 knocks in the game for Anthony.
And the Cubs with 2 on. Runners first and second. 1 out. Ben Zobrist is up. Addison Russell on deck. And Matt Garza has himself a little bit of trouble. Manny Pena, the catcher, calls timeout. Goes through some signs with Garza. What's he doing? Is he switching the sign base?
No, what he's doing is he comes out in front of home plate and he's telling the infielders where he's going to throw the ball if the Cubs double steal. And usually what that's going to mean is he's going to throw the ball to second base, try to get Anthony at second.
Pitches Zobrist in there for a strike, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Garza. So 0-1 to Zobrist with Dexter Fowler on second, Anthony Rizzo on first. Fowler with the walk, and Rizzo with his second single of the day. Meantime, Zobrist takes outside for a ball, 1-1.
Zobrist walked in his first at-bat, and once again, he had a very good long at-bat off Garza. And now the pitch count for Garza is starting to be an issue with 1 out here in the third. 61 pitches for Garza.
Garza looks back at second at Fowler, brings the pitch to Zobrist, and that is in there for a strike on the outside corner. And the count now 1-2. Change up from Garza. Cubs with 3 hits on the day, Milwaukee with 2. Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the third. Thanks for being with us on Cubs Radio. We'll be here all day if you need us. Matt Garza looks back at second, brings the pitch to Zobrist, and it is inside for a ball. So 2-2 on the fastball from Garza.
Yeah, once again, Zobrist doing a very good job of laying off some borderline pitches. That last fastball from Garza close. The inside corner just missed.
Ben Zobrist looking for his 59th RBI if he can connect. Instead takes this ball low in the dirt for a ball, and it's 3-2 now. Now could we see that double steal potential?
It is possible. And I know that's why there's a little conference on the mound between Garza and his catcher Pena. And you just don't know what they're going to do. Joe Madden is very unpredictable in situations like this. He will look at his card that he keeps with the lineups, and he will look at the percentages of ground balls that would come in a situation like this and percentages of strikes thrown by Garza.
All right, here we go with a 3-2 and a grounder towards second. Jeanette has it over to second for 1, and that's the only play that he will get. A throw over to the third now, and Fowler is back in safely. So 2 outs now. The Cubs with runners first and third. Rizzo out at second on the play by Jeanette, who threw it over to the shortstop Arcia for the force out, but not able to turn 2 as Zobrist gets down the line well enough.
Yeah, it's a good pitch by Garza inside to Zobrist. Right on the inside corner. Zo gets jammed by this ball. It's a little soft ground ball to Jeanette, who just gets the runner at second base. And Fowler with a big turnaround third. Almost got taken out at third base.
Yeah.
Just nice play, actually, by the shortstop Arcia.
So now it's Addison Russell with 2 outs. He has the only RBI in the game. The Cubs leading at 1-0 here in the bottom of the third inning. The home plate umpire Carlos Torres calls timeout for Addison Russell, who did get his timeout. Don't always get the timeout, as Chris Coughlin will tell you. Garza looking over at first base, and now Russell steps out again, and again gets the timeout from the home plate on Torres.
And it goes back to what you were talking about a little while ago. When runners get in scoring position, Garza really takes his time.
Zobrist getting a nice lead at first. Dexter Fowler creeps down the line at third. The pitch is a wild pitch, and Dexter Fowler is going to score. Cubs lead the Brewers 2-0 as Dexter Fowler scores on a wild pitch from Matt Garza.
Yeah, his pitch is down and away. Garza looks like to me he was trying to throw a changeup and just held on to it too long, and the ball never did come up. It hits and stays along the ground and ends up going to the backstop, and Fowler score.
You take that. Still a man in scoring position as Zobrist now on second base. Addison Russell with a 1-0 count. See if Addison Russell can expand the Cubs' lead to 3. Gary Jones, the third base coach, telling Ben Zobrist to get back, as that was a good move by Gary Jones because Garza steps off the mound and thought about throwing to Scooter Gennett, who was creeping behind Ben Zobrist at second base.
Zobrist with a massive lead at second base. Garza does not like throwing to the bases.
And Zobrist getting another huge lead. And again, Garza twirls. And he had no intention of throwing that ball whatsoever, nor did Scooter Gennett have any intention of assisting him on that if he was going to throw.
See, and that's a good play by Gennett at second base. Knowing Garza does not like to throw, there's no reason to do anything other than hold your position.
Here's the 1-0 to Russell. Swung on, fouled off right around home plate. So 1-1 now on Addison Russell. And Ben Zobrist is doing what he should do as a veteran and an excellent base runner, mess with the guy.
Well, yeah, and just get a huge lead, because then if the ball's hit sharply, let's say to Neuenhuis in left, if you've got a big lead and you're going on contact with 2 outs, he'll score easily.
Here's the 1-1 to Russell, and a pop-up towards third. It looks like it will be playable for VR in foul territory. It is. He makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Cubs score 1. He goes into his windup, brings the pitch. It is in there for a strike. The Cubs leading Milwaukee 2-0 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Addison Russell, a sac fly. And the Cubs also scoring courtesy of a Matt Garza wild pitch with Dexter Fowler doing the honors. The second pitch to Arcia, meantime, is a ball 1-1. Good to hear that Temple of the Dog coming back into the inning here, starring Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell. The pitch swung on and missed by Arcia, the shortstop for the Brewers. And I may or may not be going to a Pearl Jam concert here at Wrigley Field soon.
So you may not be going.
I may not be. I'm not ready to commit to that at this point, to you or anybody else. As Arcia gets ready for the 1-2 count from Cahill. The pitch is a little bit low and outside, a ball.
So then you're saying you're going to make the road trip?
I didn't say that either.
Okay.
I may or may not make the road trip. I will be on the road trip at some point in time. That I can guarantee you. Here's the 2-2 to Arcia, a little foul ball, just barely staying alive on that. Taps it on a 92-mile-per-hour sinker from Trevor Cahill, his bread and butter.
Well, on the concert day, if you do not show up for the game when we will be on the West Coast, I'll be expecting you to have been at the concert, is kind of my guess.
I promise you I'll be in San Diego and Los Angeles. Colorado, I can't guarantee it.
Okay.
Maybe Schuster will make the trip. Here's the 2-2 to Arcia, and it is low and outside for a ball on a changeup. 3-2 from Trevor Cahill.
I think you're holding out for the best offer to have somebody tag along with you.
Oh, you do you?
Tag along with him where, David?
To the concert.
What concert? I know what you're talking about. 3-2 now to Arcia. Fouled down the third baseline. So Arcia suddenly working a pretty good at-bat himself here against Trevor Cahill.
Yeah, Cahill's pitch count is in good shape so far through the first 3 innings. It's only at 51 pitches, so he has done very well. No runs so far, only a couple hits.
Full count, grounder towards Russell. Scoops it on the short hop, throws across to Rizzo for the out. So 1 out. Cubs with a 2-0 lead, and that'll bring up Scooter Gennett. Are you going to said concert, Schuster?
I am not. Are you offering?
Nope.
Then I'm definitely not.
There are certain situations where I'm very happy to accommodate people and get people tickets, but sometimes you got to take care of yourself first. That's what's going on here. Scooter Jeanette now from Cahill lines a foul ball down the first baseline.
Just listening, yeah.
I want you to just be kind of aware of what might transpire or what may not transpire, just so you can make the necessary accommodations. As the pitch to Jeanette, a little blooper into left. Coughlin's got a beat on it, makes the play. So 2-away here in the fourth inning.
Mark Grody, man of mystery.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no mystery here. I know exactly what he's doing. Nice pitch by Cahill. Little off-speed pitch. Had Jeanette out in front. Jeanette, a very good hitter, but Cahill with a good off-speed pitch got him to just flip that ball into left field. So Cahill doing a good job here in the fourth.
And big Chris Carter steps in. Trevor Cahill, the windup in the pitch, and it's low and outside.
This is a big man at home plate. When you watch batting practice, last time we were in Milwaukee, I was down on the field watching Milwaukee's batting practice.
Swung on a miss by Carter, so 1-1.
And this guy swings easy and hits the ball a long, long way in BP.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those guys that one should be required to say before every time, big Chris Carter, who fouls it off. 29-year-old with 27 home runs for the Milwaukee Brewers.
And guys, Mike Montgomery is starting to warm up in the Cubs bullpen. It'll be interesting to see how long Joe Madden does go with Trevor Cahill.
Yeah, so far Cahill has done very well.
As Carter fouls it off, so 1-2, 2 outs here in the fourth inning. Yeah, Carter, 6'4", 245.
And that could have been when he signed. He is a big man.
Yeah. One of those guys who all of 6'4".
Yeah.
Sometimes we round off in life. He does not. The 1-2 is upstairs on the fastball. So 2-2 with 2 outs. Cubs leading 2-0. Mark Grody and Ron Coomer. Pat Hughes with a scheduled day off today. He's back in action tomorrow. Here's Cahill's pitch to Carter and fouled off. So Cahill up to exactly 60 pitches. The changeup there at 84 miles per hour. Hernan Perez on deck. But Cahill would rather not face him in this inning with 2 outs here on the 2-2 count. Visitors with just 2 hits. And there's a ground ball. Easy play for Addison Russell. Scoops, fires, and out. So nothing doing for the... Was in a lot of pain or discomfort, as the case may be, when you get the wind knocked out of you, and then stayed in the game, luckily, as he gets ready to take the first pitch from Garza, and it is outside for a ball low. And it is also about that time where we play the Nuveen attendance game, which I think is going to be a little bit tricky today in game 1 of this doubleheader, as Garza gets ready to bring the pitch and is in there for a strike, 1-1. I'm positive that I didn't win last time, so I know that I don't go first. Is Schuster playing with us today?
I am.
Very good. Should we let our guest go first today, Coomer? The 1-1 to Coughlin, swung on and missed. He didn't want to swing, but he did.
Who won the last time?
Wasn't me. I think it might have been... Well.
Just asking a question. I'm not exactly sure.
Every once in a while, Coomer plays I'm the former baseball player of this press box. I'm just saying. I mean,
didn't say that.
That's the feel I get.
It's true, but I didn't say that.
The 1-2 to Coughlin. Swung on and fair ball down the third base line. Extra bases for Chris Coughlin. He'll pull up at second with a double. Round second, as a matter of fact. As Kurt Neuenhuis having to negotiate with the bullpen down there. He scattered those guys like a bunch of birds. As it's a double just fair down the third baseline for Coughlin. That's a good way to start this fourth inning.
Yeah, excellent swing of the bat by Chris. He let that fastball get deep and just shot it the other way, just inside the bag at third with that line drive. And it does end up going down in the Cubs bullpen, rattles around in there. If it gets past the bullpen, it could go all the way down, at least down to the warning track down the line, but it stops in the pen. but it'll be a double and a leadoff double for Coghlan.
So Jason Hayward up 0 for 1. Hayward hitting 7th today for the Cubs, looking for his 33rd RBI. If he can get himself a hit, as Matt Garza looks back at Coghlan, brings the pitch to Hayward, a drive to right field, as it's going to be caught by Perez coming in, as a matter of fact, as the wind is blowing in. He gets it in quickly, and Coghlan not able to advance. So that ball was hit high. It started to go deep, but pushed back in quickly with that wind blowing in.
Well, we will let David go first with the moving investment attendance game.
You're sure you want to concede, Coom?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't seem very happy about it. We're going to be together all day. I don't want you being unhappy in the 4th inning.
Well, I was a leadoff hitter whenever I played baseball back in my way past, so it's good for me to lead off. And I'm going to say, and this is a tough one, like you said, Mark, first game of a day-night doubleheader makeup game. I'm going to say...
Sound like you're stalling, dude.
I am stalling. I'm counting them as we speak.
Wheel them. That's it. You're disqualified.
40,007. Those 7 being some friends of mine who I know are in the center field bleachers today soaking up the rays.
What did you say?
40,007.
Okay.
Mark, go right ahead.
Oh, nice guy now, huh? All right. Miguel Montero batting for the Cubs with Chris Coghlan on second base. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Cubs with a 2-0 lead. I'm going to say 37,225. The pitch to Montero, grounded to short. Arcia has it, bobbles it, tries to go to third. Nothing doing there. Everybody is safe. And it goes as a base hit. So Montero on first. Coghlan at third. Arcia charging. Bobbled it. He was going to go to first initially, then reverse track, tried to flip to third to VR, but not close at third base. Everybody is safe, and again, that goes as a base hit. As now we're going to have a meeting on the mound as the entire infield and Craig Counsell, the manager of the Brewers, comes out as well. And I assume this is just situational at this point if he's not bringing Garza out.
Yeah, he's definitely not taking Garza out. Nobody's been throwing in the Brewer pen. 74 pitches for Garza, but this is about the safety squeeze, basically. This is the situation the Cubs have done extremely well this year. Garza, a guy who does not throw the ball to the bases well. So with Montero on first and Coghlan at third, this is a situation where the Cubs will probably at least look to bunt once, possibly twice with Cahill at the plate. So we will see. If Garza ends up fielding this ball, it'll be interesting to see where he throws the ball and how he throws the ball, because that has been an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark, your guess was 37?
225, Ron.
225, okay.
Mm-hmm. Schuster was 40,000 as Cahill squares the bunt, pulls it back, a ball. So 1-0. Would have been a safety variety if he had attempted to put it down, as Coghlan was not coming home. So first and third, 1 out, a 1-0 count to the Cubs pitcher Cahill, as Garza trying to get out of this here with Dexter Fowler on deck. Cahill already showing bunt. The pitch to him, pulls it back, and a ball high. So 2-0 to Cahill. Well, Cahill walked Garza. Let's see if Garza can return the favor to his counterpart. As Cahill looks down at third base, the coach Gary Jones going through the signs. Cahill looking intently. Now gets back into the box. It's a 2-0 count, first and third, as Cahill in a hitter's stance, not showing bunt. Now he squares up, pulls it back for a ball inside. 3-0 to Cahill.
Well, the thing you want to do if you're the pitcher is you want to throw a strike and let him bunt this ball and try to get an out. That's the goal, is to get an out in his play. Garza is a little, I'm guessing, consumed with the fact that this is going to be a safety squeeze, and is trying to make a perfect pitch and has not so far, and the count has gone to 3-0.
With Dexter Fowler on deck. So the pitch now to Cahill, taking all the way for a strike. So 3-1 now to Trevor Cahill. As again, he looks down to Gary Jones, his third base coach, taking time looking, waiting for him to go through the entire band of signs. So 3-1, 1 out. Cubs with runners first and third as Cahill squares up the bunt. He pushes it down the first baseline. Foul ball. So 3-2 count now.
Yeah, Cahill with a chance to bunt this ball. It's at the top of the zone, but he pushes at it a little too much. And when you do that, you know, it's tough to get the ball bunted where you want. What you try to do is basically catch the ball with the last 6 inches of the bat. And that deadens the ball and just pushes it where, you know, out in front of home plate, which is good. Cahill kind of pushed at it, and because of that, he pushed it foul.
Both base runners getting leads at first. And here's the bunt by Cahill. Safety squeeze. Coughlin coming home. Dives in safely. Coughlin scores on the bunt by Cahill. And the Cubs lead the Brewers 3-0.
Perfect bunt by Cahill. So the first time he bunted it foul and pushed at it. This time he lets this ball get to him. He bunts it and deadens the ball perfectly. Carter, with no real play at the plate, catches this ball with his glove and just scoops it from the glove right to home plate. Cahill, with the perfect bunt, gets to first. Coughlin scores easily on the bunt, and Montero moves to second. So an excellent play and execution by the Cubs offense to score that third run.
As Cahill gets it done on a full count, had gone 3-0, and then Garza worked it back full, and then the nice bunt by Cahill, scoring a diving Chris Coughlin. The Cubs again lead 3-0, and here's Dexter Fowler, who takes the first pitch upstairs for a ball. And the Cubs still with runners first and second, and just 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and a 3-0 lead against the Brewers.
Carter holding the runner on Montero at first, kind of an odd play, because if knowing he's not crashing, the ball was bunted softly, and then just scooping the ball to home, really didn't have a play at the plate, but didn't get an out either.
Here's a called strike on the outside corner on a fastball from Garza, so 1-1.
And I'm sure Craig Counsell said if they do execute the play, let's just try to get an out. And the Brewers were unable to do that.
So Garza still more trouble with the runners first and second. They pitch to Fowler, big swing and miss. 1-2. Montero is the man on second base. And Trevor Cahill, he of the bunts, is at first.
Pena, a guy who likes to throw behind home plate, reared back after that pitch like he was going to pick Montero off at second. Miggy's got a short lead at second base.
Yeah, as Arcia kind of creeps in towards second, and Garza waiting for it to develop. Long stare at Montero, and now the pitch inside on a curveball to Dexter Fowler. So 2-2 to Dexter Fowler with 2 on for the Cubs, first and second. Miguel Montero, the lead runner. Cahill at first. Cahill having himself a really nice day today, both pitching and handling the bat. Here's the 2-2 to Fowler, way inside, almost hit him. Fowler happy to go full on that. Scared him back out of the box. And you talk about Pena and his want to throw the ball to the bases. We know the Cubs do that a lot as well. David Ross, very good at it. Wilson Contreras getting good at it. We'll see Montero do it. Is that done more now in Major League Baseball than when you were playing, or is it at about the same rate?
No, I would say it's somewhat the same. I just think, you know, catchers with good arms, they like to show off their arm, and they like to keep you close.
The 3-2 to Fowler, and it's upstairs. Ball 4. Cubs have the bases loaded, and 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and Chris Bryant coming to the plate.
Well, that bunt safety squeeze executed by the Cubs, I think, had some effect on Garza with the at-bat by Fowler. The pitch is all around the zone to Cahill. You know, at times when you're trying to make that perfect pitch against a guy you know is bunting, gets you a little out of rhythm. And I think Cahill doing that has done that to Garza, who got the perfectly executed bunt.
And Chris Bryant at the plate, and yeah, his pace, Garza's, has just slowed to a crawl. He's had 86 pitches now, and in a predicament here with Chris Bryant at the plate. Bryant takes inside for a ball.
I was wondering how long it was going to take Milwaukee to get someone up in the pen, and now they're starting to scatter down in that Milwaukee bullpen.
Well, we know it's a righty. They do not have a lefty in the bullpen at all on this roster. As Garza brings the 1-0 to Bryant, and that is low and outside, as Pena had to go down in the dirt to get it. Nice play by Pena, but 2-0 to Chris Bryant. It's pretty amazing. They don't have a left-hander in their bullpen at all. They don't have a left-handed starter either. Will Smith recently traded to San Francisco by the Brewers, but that caught me off guard when I saw their depth chart and their bullpen. I asked the broadcasters from Milwaukee, is this right? No lefty? And that is the case. The 2-0 to Chris Bryant, who pops it up. It looks like it's going to be playable on the infield. Pena, the catcher, calling it and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So Bryant pops out to the catcher in front of the mound for the second out here in the fourth inning.
Yeah, Chris got a fastball inside, hit it straight up. The infield fly rule was called as the ball was fair. Now, I would have liked to have seen if Chris got the barrel to that ball. He had a big swing, but hit it straight up.
So it will be up to Anthony Rizzo. 2 outs now. Cubs have the bags packed. Dexter Fowler on first, Trevor Cahill on second, Miguel Montero on third, and it's going to be Matt Garza versus Anthony Rizzo. Garza would be due up fifth in the next inning for the Brewers. Got to imagine his day is winding down as this next pitch will be his 90th pitch. As Rizzo digs in. Garza looking everywhere, now brings the pitch, and there's a ground ball to first, scooped up there by big Chris Carter, who runs over to the bag, steps on first for the out, so the Cubs leave the bases loaded and do not score. We go to the fifth inning now. Ron Coomer is coming up next.
For tendonitis, and then has been stretched out by the Cubs staff. Has thrown a very good ball game so far. He threw a few games in the minor leagues, a few starts, last couple. Stretched out that pitch count, and now he has thrown the ball excellent today for the Cubs. The second pitch just misses down. The count goes to 2-0. It'll be Perez, Neuenhuis, and Broxton here in the fifth inning.
Yeah, this has to be really encouraging for Joe Madden. They didn't know what they were going to get out of Trevor Cahill today. He hasn't started a game since 2015.
Yeah. 2-0 pitch right on the outside corner. Another little two-seamer that just clips the corner, 2-1.
And before he went on the DL with the patellar tendonitis, very New York sounding word, patellar tendonitis, they had the R.
Next pitch misses wide, 3-1.
He had kind of been struggling coming out of the bullpen. So the work that he did down in the minors, the 6 starts for AAA Iowa, could have been exactly what he needed. We'll see.
Yeah, he has thrown very well. 3-1 pitch. This ball is once again hit on the ground. It's been a busy day for Addison Russell as he fields this one and flips it across the diamond to Anthony. And Addison has fielded some balls in the hole, a couple up the middle and a couple right at him. But he has been busy today. First out of the inning here in the fifth. Cubs up 3-1, and it'll bring up Neuenhuis.
His throws have been particularly crisp for a while because we've always known that Addison Russell can get to any single baseball ever. But it's almost like, and he's never been bad at making the throw, but it's almost like it's better than ever. You don't see the low throw from Addison Russell as much. I mean, just throwing darts over there to Rizzo.
First pitch, another little two-seamer hits the outside corner to Neuenhuis for a strike. Well, and I think what happens, Mark, is Addison is still a very young guy. This next pitch, check swing and a ball in the dirt. Count will go to 1-1. But there's a rhythm in a way you play the infield that for young players in the minor leagues, it takes them a while to understand the speed of the game that professional baseball is played at. This pitch by Cahill is a little breaking ball, misses down. And now this is Addison's second year, his first full season. And to me, you can see him settling into understanding how fast he needs to make certain plays. You never really see him rushing unless he has to. Swing and a miss by Neuenhuis on another good two-seamer by Cahill, and the count goes to 1-2. But, that's the one thing that we see. We see him catching the hop that he wants, which allows his footwork to do exactly what he wants and get his momentum going to first. This pitch is fouled off. But it's a good observation that his throws are crisp because his timing and his feet are working together to field the ball where and when he wants to.
I give the Cubs a lot of credit, too, for the way that they have brought him along because, as you said last year, he was called up after the start of the season. I believe it was in May last year.
Next pitch, this one's hit on the ground. Nice backhand play by Anthony. Flips over to Cahill. Throw to first. He's out. Anthony knocks this ball down, and it rolls into foul territory. Neuenhuis hustling down the line as Anthony picks this ball up while he's laying in foul territory and fires a bullet to Cahill. Craig Counsell is still holding up the game in the dugout to see whether or not Neuenhuis is out. But it was an excellent play either way. And I believe he is out at first base on the first shot I have seen. Mark, have you seen anything different? I've seen one view.
I hate to say this, but it looked like a straight tie to me. So let's see. I'm looking at another view right now.
Counsell is not going to review this, and Broxton's going to go to the plate.
All right. Call by you.
So, yeah, I think it was an excellent play also by Cahill, stretching out like a first baseman to end up getting that out. So the second out of the inning here in the fifth on a nice play by Rizzo and Cahill. So that play will go 3-1, and the first pitch by Cahill is a strike.
There's been a couple of nice defensive plays now today. Cahill has been executing. He picked off VR earlier in the game. He executed on a squeeze bunt.
Next pitch is a little breaking ball away, 1-1.
But back to Addison Russell. They bring him up last year. He hit ninth most of the season last year. He started at second base, so they eased him in sort of defensively, got him back to his comfort zone at short. Now he finds himself hitting fifth in the Cubs lineup.
That breaking ball misses down. Count is 2-1. You think about all the things that Addison Russell has gone through in the last year. Getting called up to the big leagues, playing second base, taking over for Castro at short when Starlin got sent to the bench. Then changing his offensive approach as this pitch is high. Check swing down to first base umpire Tom Woodring. He gives the strike call, so the count will go to 2-2. And then John Maley making an adjustment in his swing to get him a late kick. And that is where all the power and the RBIs have come in. As this pitch from Cahill misses up. So a lot of things have gone on in a very short period of time for Addison Russell. And oh, by the way, he was voted in as the All-Star shortstop.
There's that.
This July. So he has made the transition very well to the big leagues. 3-2 pitch is down, so Broxton will walk. It'll be a 2-out walk here in the fifth inning. Joe Madden, I'm looking down at the skipper. Cahill is at 77 pitches in the game. Joe is looking down to see if Montgomery is ready, and I got to believe this will be the last hitter for Cahill. So with 2 outs, Pena at the plate. Cubs are up 3-0. Cahill has thrown the ball exceptionally well for this spot start here for the Cubs here in game 1 of a split doubleheader. Cahill flips one over to first, and Broxton is back easily.
Game 2, at least scheduled for 7:05 tonight. Jason Hamill against Chase Anderson.
Now Cahill comes set. There goes Broxton. Pitch inside. And the throw goes out into center field. Montero got a little bit behind that throw, and it ends up sailing on him into center field. Throw comes in from Fowler. So it'll be an error on Montero. And Broxton will go all the way to third base. So it'll be a stolen base and an error too.
So Montero's made one absolutely terrific throw to second and one not quite so good.
Yeah, this pitch was inside, so he caught this ball and then he had to try to get his front side closed. Really never got it closed and ended up arm not catching up, and the ball kind of sailed on him into center field. So now with the man on third, ball 1 the count, and now the pitch from Cahill. Good breaking ball, first strike, 1-1. Milwaukee pen going. That's number 45.
That'd be right-hander Tyler Cravey.
This next pitch is hit foul down towards the Cubs bullpen. Nice snag right at the wall by a Cub fan.
Is anybody in this booth lefty? Brewers need a left-hander. No? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Milwaukee with no left-handed arms coming out of the pen. I'm going to guess that a couple of their guys have that reverse split thing working as this next pitch is tapped foul. Count stays 1-2. And Trevor would really like to get this out here in the fifth. If he can get out of this fifth inning and stay in the ballgame, he'll have the opportunity to get a W here on this spot start for him in game one of this double dip. And now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Excellent job by Trevor Cahill. Fans won't strike out with Gold Coast Bank. Visit goldcoastbank.net today. Trevor Cahill with an excellent job going. Good luck, Rich. Cubs up 3-0 here in the bottom of the fifth inning. First pitch from Garza misses wide to Ben Zobrist.
A Cubs fan growing up on the south side.
It gets you tough early as a kid.
Oh, I bet.
And I wasn't all that popular with my cousins when we would sit down, at dinner, or the little cookouts we'd have. All my cousins and my dad wasn't really, and then he grew into being a Cub fan. My grandfather, not so much. Next pitch to Ben is a strike. Good breaking ball by Garza.
Just sitting there with their arms folded, shaking their head at you. What happened to you, Ron Coomer?
And, they were baseball fans, but I was like the freakish baseball fan.
Uh-huh.
So they just had to deal with it.
You were also better at baseball than any of them, so you had that.
Yeah. Another good breaking ball by Garza. So two hooks in a row to Zobrist. Counts 1-2. Garza at 93 pitches in the game. Yeah, I think I did the right thing by sticking with the baseball instead of hockey or football or anything else.
Seems to have worked out well for you.
Another hook, so 3 in a row by Garza. This one's in the dirt. Counts 2-2. 3-0 Cubs here. Cubs scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And the run in the fourth inning was on a safety squeeze by Trevor Cahill, perfectly executed. Scored Coughlin. And I got to believe Cahill was getting some handshakes in between innings. His day will probably be done. As Zobrist hits a little two-hopper to second baseman Scooter Gennett, and he flips across the diamond to Carter. So Zobrist will be out 4-3 here in the fifth inning. First out, Cubs up 3-0. Then it'll bring up Addison Russell.
It had to be best-case scenario for what you were hoping to get out of Trevor Cahill today. 5 innings, did not allow a run. Just 2 hits, struck out 3, walked 2. Can't ask for much more than that for a guy that they were hoping for something like that and got it.
Yeah, Trevor, to me, early strikes in the count as Addison Russell looks to bunt and takes a pitch up and in for a ball. As VR was playing back at third base, and now he will probably play even with the bag at third against Addison Russell. But yeah, it was the way Trevor went about it. Strike 1, strike 2 on most hitters, especially the first couple innings. And then he was able to dial in his breaking ball a little bit. So very good job by Trevor Cahill. Next pitch to Addison. He shows bunt again. This one hits the inside corner and it counts 1-1. Normally we would not see Addison Russell showing bunt here with a 3-0 lead in the fifth. Matt Garza with some major issues at throwing the baseball to the bases. Now Addison tops one right in front of home plate. Pena picks it up, and only 1 foot in front of home plate is where this ball ended up, and he'll flip it across to Carter for the second out of the inning. So Addison Russell is out on a little dribbler in front of the plate, so 2 outs. Cubs up 3-0, and it'll bring up Chris Coughlin.
Did you make your attendance pick?
You know what? I will do it right now.
See how I am?
It will be.
Wait a minute.
I will go to 38,000 flat.
Okay, Miska. It seems Miska would like you disqualified.
Well, that's too bad. He doesn't have a microphone in front of him. So that pitch is fouled down the right field line. So if I don't look at him trying to wheel me, it's just
okay.
I can't hear him.
Pay no mind.
So that's just the way that's going to work out today.
Dave Rock and Roll Miska.
Cubs up 3-0 on a gorgeous day here at Wrigley. Game 1 of 2, the split doubleheader. Second game will start about a little after 7 o'clock tonight. Next pitch to Coughlin. Fastball, that one just misses down. Counts 1-1.
Looks like the wind has shifted a little bit. Those flags were blowing in center field to start the game, and now they are blowing to left field.
Yeah, kind of blowing from the right field corner to the left field corner. Coughlin takes a fastball right on the outside corner, 1-2. Chris in his last at-bat doubled down the left field line. It was an excellent piece of hitting on a good fastball away. And he ended up scoring the third run on a great bunt by Trevor Cahill on a safety squeeze. This fastball is in, and it counts 2-2.
And guys, Mike Montgomery is again warming up. He undoubtedly will come in the next inning. How about Trevor Cahill against Milwaukee this season? 10 2/3 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts.
I think he would take those numbers all day, right, David?
I think so.
Next pitch, this one's a little dribbler out towards second base. Jeanette fields it coming in, and he'll flip it over to Carter. So the Cubs will go 1-2-3 here in the fifth inning. Couple ground balls to Jeanette. Cubs still a ball game for the Cubs. After Trevor Cahill threw the heck out of the baseball. It was outstanding performance by Cahill. Pitching changes for the Cubs are sponsored by GhostBed. Supernatural sleep comfort delivered right to your door. Visit ghostbed.com. So 5 shutout innings for Cahill, and now Mike Montgomery will face the pinch hitter, Jake Elmore, for Milwaukee. So that will mean Matt Garza will be out of the ball game after 5 innings. First pitch from Montgomery is a ball. Next pitch hit on the ground towards Zobrist. He comes in and makes a little off-balance throw. Nice play by Zobrist for the first out. So Elmore is retired here 4-3 in the fifth inning, and it'll roll to the top of the lineup in VR.
Well, this could be an important day for a couple of guys. As we said with Trevor Cahill, that performance extremely encouraging. And now Mike Montgomery can continue to build on what he did in his last outing, which was a win against St. Louis, and sort of build up his confidence, still getting used to being on the Cubs, having been traded from Seattle.
Yeah, he has the pitch that Montgomery is very good. Good off-speed pitch. We're about to talk about his off-speed pitches. He has an excellent slider. That is his number one pitch. And he had great command of it in his last outing. And got some key strikeouts in that game. There's another slider. Back-to-back hooks by Monty, and that's 0-2.
Yeah, he was the winner in that 4-3 11-inning victory over St. Louis on Thursday.
Next pitch just fouled back. Count stays 0-2.
He pitched the 10th and 11th innings and struck out 4. That was his best performance in a Cubs uniform.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it was a slider. He had command of the slider and obviously the fastball, because you got to set the slider up with a good heater. And now 0-2. Strike 3. Good fastball inside after a couple good breaking balls. And Montgomery punches out VR in that heater inside. Fans won't strike out with Gold Coast Bank. Visit goldcoastbank.net today. 2 outs, and it'll go to Arcia here in the 6th inning.
Joe Madden with his so-called American Legion week this week.
First pitch misses down. Now, you are aware of what American Legion Week is, right?
Right. You can show up to the ballpark basically whenever you want. It's like when you're a kid and your parents drop you off at the game and you just go play baseball.
Right. That pitch is down 2-0.
You don't need to warm up and take batting practice and take fielding. Just get out of the car, make sure your uniform's tucked in, and play baseball.
Yep. Yeah, there's no such thing as work on the field. So there'll be very, very little work done on the field this week by the Cubs. And it is basically to give a mental and physical break to some of the guys. And, guys will go out and they'll play catch and do that, but there will be no batting practice, no fielding practice. And by August, if you haven't figured it out and you're a big league ball player, you're not gonna. But I don't think that's the case, since the Cubs have the best record in baseball right now at 73-43. As that pitch misses high from Montgomery. Counts 3-1.
Judging from the volume or lack thereof of available players in the clubhouse today.
That pitch, good fastball by Montgomery, swung and missed by Arcia, and it counts 3-2.
Plenty of people taking Joe up on that.
Oh, yeah, the guys will come in later. If you show up around 5:30, you get stretched, you get down to the cage, just the indoor cage. This pitch, good fastball, just missed the inside corner. And Montgomery will walk Arcia with 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
That was a good pitch, though. I mean, it was a ball, but bringing smoke at 94 miles per hour had Arcia just kind of trying to get out of the way for dear life, even though it wasn't as close to hitting him as he sort of made it look. But a walk nonetheless with 2 outs here in the 6th.
Yeah, Milwaukee with only 2 hits in the ball game. Here with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Cahill threw the first 5 of shutout baseball. His first pitch, a little slow breaking ball, just missed up. But Cahill with an excellent job getting the spot start here in game 1 of the split doubleheader. And now Mike Montgomery taking over for Cahill here in the 6th. Cubs up 3-0 here, as we said, on a beautiful day for baseball. Scooter Gennett fouls this one off the glove of Montero, and it counts 1-1.
It's interesting to see the evolution of Joe Maddon, too, because I don't know if players necessarily trusted that he meant what he said when he said it's okay to not take batting practice before games. It's okay to not show up 8 hours before a game. And I think slowly but surely players realize he's being serious. Like, it's okay to show up a little bit later.
Yeah, as this ball is whistled over the Cubs dugout. Hopefully everybody's all right. I think it hit just over the cameraman's head in the camera well. But everybody is okay. Counts 1-2. And that's a good point, Mark, because traditionally that is not something that is done. There's no other teams in baseball doing American Legion Week. I can promise you that. And now the 1-2 pitch is hit on the ground to Zobrist. Anthony took a couple steps to go after it. Goes back to the bag. Zobrist fields that ball easily. And that'll be the 3rd out here in the top of the 6th. So a nice inning for Montgomery.
Proceeds from the sale of Cubs authentic items to Cubs charities. Visit Cubs.com/authentics today. Back to you, Ron.
Thank you, Dave. How are you doing back there, pinch hitting for Mark Grody? Everything going okay?
Everything is great. So far, I'm undefeated.
In this role. We haven't won or lost a game yet, though, bro.
Well, I'm chalking it up.
Okay, so far so good. New pitcher for Milwaukee is Tyler Cravey, big right-hander. So he swings it. Hayward hits this ball high and deep to right, and going right into the teeth of the wind, it's going to get blown back into the ballpark as Perez fields this ball about 3 good strides in front of the track in right center field. So a big swing and a loud out by Hayward here in the bottom of the 6th inning, if I get the inning right. And it'll bring up Montero. Cubs up 3-0.
We got 2 games to get it right, too.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. There's a lot of baseball we played yet.
Yep.
Milwaukee's pitching chain is sponsored by Sloan, the proud water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs, providing smart water solutions for your business. Visit Sloan.com today. His first pitch from Cravey misses high to Montero, and it counts 1-0.
Yeah, that wind blowing in aggressively from right field. Good to see Jason Hayward getting elevation, but
his next pitch, swing and a miss. Good fastball by Cravey.
He was definitely curved by the wind on that one, as that ball still made the warning track with that wind huffing in.
Yeah, it has picked up considerably blowing in from right field as Cravey wheels and throws another good fastball and throws that one past Montero. Counts 1-2. Cravey, big guy. He's had from 10 innings so far this year. And he is a guy that has kind of a funky delivery, gives you his back as he's not looking at home plate as he throws that pitch inside to Montero and he fouls it to the backstop.
I like funky delivery type of guys. We got one on the Cubs now, and Joe Smith.
Yeah.
Who brings the funk.
Yeah, Joe Smith, side armor. But Cravey turns, and you see his number on the back of his jersey before he wheels and throws home. Long look in for the sign. Another 1-2 pitch from Cravey. Swing and a miss by Montero. Another fastball from Cravey. Miggy couldn't quite catch up to it. And 2 outs, and it'll bring up Mike Montgomery.
Do you remember Cubs side armor Dick Tidrow?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other funky Cubs wind-up and/or pitch style guys. Tidrow was the first guy that came to mind.
Did you mention Ted Abernathy?
Abernathy. Do not.
That first pitch to Montgomery misses wide. Ted Abernathy. I did not. No.
Do you remember him? I don't. You got us, Shu. That's why you're here, man.
That was your trivia question for the day.
Next pitch, big swing by Montgomery, who doesn't get a lot of at-bats.
I'm looking up Ted now.
Swung in a fastball, missed it.
Just want to make sure Schuster's not making stuff up.
Well, that's okay. We're used to it in that chair.
Just remember.
Well, take care, boys.
No.
See you later.
Ka-ching.
Well, you're not in that chair right now.
Oh, that's
You're
right.
in the other chair. Remember the front row you said?
I'm in the MVP's chair right now.
Big swing and a miss, and now the 1-2 pitch, and this one's hit on the ground towards Carter. Cravey fields it and now tags Montgomery. If Cravey just lets this ball go, it'd be a much easier play for Carter. But he slid, dove, and then ends up fielding it and tagging Montgomery for the third out.
Their runs today on an Addison Russell sac fly into first, scoring Chris Bryant. Meantime, Montgomery brings the curveball. First pitch is in there for a called strike to Carter. In the third, Dexter Fowler scored on a Matt Garza wild pitch. As Montgomery gets ready to bring the 0-1, and that hits him with a pitch. Got him on the left elbow. Carter did very little to get out of the way, but the big man gets to take his base nonetheless. And finishing out the scoring for the Cubs, Trevor Cahill bunt scored Chris Coughlin as Joe Madden goes with one of his faves, the safety squeeze, and that is how we get you to this Cubs 3-0 lead. 7th inning against Milwaukee at Wrigley Field, along with Ron Coomer. I'm Mark Grody, filling in for Pat Hughes today. Dave Rock'n'Roll Miska is our on-site engineer. David Schuster is with us today doing pre and post. We have Joe Ostrowski back in our downtown Chicago studios. Rick Camp, our highlight coordinator. Here's the pitch from Montgomery. Another nice curveball in there for a strike. So 0-1 with Carter on first base. Binny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Since 1948, Binny's has helped Chicagoland celebrate the best times of their lives. As swung on and missed by Hernan Perez, who is now in an 0-2 hole. Chris Carter getting his lead. Hernan Perez at the plate, the right fielder for the Brewers. The pitch from Montgomery, a little blooper into left. Coughlin coming on, he has a play and makes it for the out. Chris Carter gets back to first base. So 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Really good off-speed pitch by Montgomery. You talked about his curveball and his success in that last extra inning ball game where he got the W. He's made some great pitches with the breaking ball today. So now, did you see the attendance today, Mark?
I kind of heard it being given in the background by Peter Chase. And it is, stand by, the pitch now to Kirk Neuenhuis is in there for a called strike on an 89-mile-per-hour cutter. The attendance today in Game 1 of this doubleheader, 41,148. As the pitch to Neuenhuis, outside corner, the appeal to third. They say, yes, you did go around. So 0-2, Rob Drake, the third base umpire. Is it possible that on his first day, David Schuster wins?
Not possible. It is.
I don't know if we can allow this.
I'm good with it. It's fine. We got to, invite our guest into the booth.
Swung on and missed by Neuenhuis, strike 3. So Neuenhuis down on strikes for the second out of the inning. I would say that might be fairly significant in Montgomery's mind because If you recall, it was at Miller Park on July 23rd when the first batter that Mike Montgomery faced, it was Kirk Neuenhuis who hit that 3-run homer, to left field just inside the foul pole at Miller Park. So Montgomery probably feeling that a little bit.
Yeah, those things seem to stick into your mind and into your memory bank, especially the first hitter you face with a new team coming off of a trade.
Keon Broxton, the player. Chris Carter still on first, having been hit by a pitch. He gets his lead over there. 2 outs. Cubs leading the Brewers 3-0. Montgomery with a soft throw over to first base, and Rizzo flings it right back to him as Keon Broxton at the plate now for the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, congratulations, Schuster. Does he get like a Sharpie? Does he get one of our blue Sharpies? Do we have those anymore?
No, what we decided was the winner was going to get a free lunch from the play-by-play guy, and since you're calling the play-by-play this inning, that means you get to buy him lunch.
Here's the 1-0 to Broxton in there for a called strike.
So congratulations, Davey.
Well, thank you. I'm just wondering, can I be like Usain Bolt and do my pose?
Don't push your luck.
And I deserve better treatment now that I'm in the front row, incidentally. Chris Carter is going, swung on and missed. The throw down to second is snagged, intercepted by Mike Montgomery. Or maybe that was the plan by Montero.
Well, Carter got a walking lead from first base. Montgomery never did come to a hold and then make Carter stop at first. And with Carter with that running lead, we ended up going to have this base stole pretty easily. Montgomery catches this ball thrown from Montero.
Did he intend to catch that?
He intended to catch it. I don't think that's something that Montero wanted, but it is what it is. There's 2 outs, but it's 1-2. So if you get to hitter, all is forgiven.
So Chris Carter steals second. Yeah, that was interesting. Montero came up throwing, and Montgomery just stabbed it on the mound. And they pitched now to Broxton. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Montgomery is out of it. No damage done by the Brewers as the Cubs with a 3-0 lead here as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's time now for our 7th inning stretch featuring the Ernie Banks video. It is brought to you by your locally owned Citgo. Fueling good. Here's Ernie Banks.
1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever did not show me root. We're root for the it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out in the old ball game.
Cubs fans, this is truly a season.
So the Cubs at the top of the order, facing the reliever Tyler Cravey for the Brewers, and Dexter Fowler takes a fastball inside, ball 1. Cubs leading the Brewers 3-0 here in the bottom of the 7th inning at Wrigley Field, along with Ron Coomer. I'm Mark Grody. Cravey on the mound, working much more quickly than Garza as Fowler fouls this one off out of play. So 1-1 to Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, it's been an excellent job by the Cubs pitching today. Trevor Cahill threw 5 shutout innings for Joe Madden in the spot start here in Game 1, and now Mike Montgomery doing a very good job for 2 innings here.
Pitch to Fowler, driven into center field. Keon Broxton floats back, now comes in and catches the ball in center field for the out. So Fowler lines out to center field for the first out here of this 7th inning. Tyler J. Cravey, the pitcher for the Brewers, 6'2", 220. And a right-hander, the 27-year-old. Just like all of the bullpenners for the Brewers. Chris Bryant now at the plate for the Cubs. Bryant at 28 homers for the season, 72 RBIs. As Cravey brings the pitch to Bryant, and it is a called strike on the inside corner. So Bryant has passed up his his rookie total of 26 home runs, 72 RBI, and if you recall last year, he was 99 RBIs for the season. There's the pitch and a called strike on the outside of the plate. So Cravey doing a good job of painting the corners of the plate, inside on the first, outside corner on the second. Added up, it's an 0-2 count to Chris Bryant with one out here in the 7th inning. As Cravey goes into his windup, the delivery, and that ball goes all the way back to the net, a ball. That one looked like it slipped out of his hands.
I hope so, because I don't think it even hit the left-handed batter's box.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to try to make a guy fish, but you would have needed a large net to bring that one in. Here is the pitch from Cravey, and Bryant fouls it off his ankle. As he hobbles around a little bit.
Well, when the catcher doesn't even make an attempt to try to catch the ball and he just watches it, you know it's missed the plate by quite a bit.
I'm not getting that one. You get that one. You're going to throw it like that, you go get it.
Bat boy, that one's on you.
It's like when you're a kid and you're playing catch and you unpurposely throw it over the guy's head. You're like, no, you go get it. No, you go get it. So 1-2 on Chris Bryant, one out here in the 7th inning. Tyler Cravey, the pitcher for the Crew. Rizzo on deck. And here is the pitch to Bryant, and a base hit into left field. So Chris Bryant is on base, makes the big turn at first, and scoots back to the bag. So one out single for Chris Bryant here in the 7th, with the Cubs looking to add on to their 3-0 lead.
Good swing and a bat by Chris. So he takes this pitch. Might have been a straight change or a little cutter off the outside corner, and he just goes out and gets this ball and dumps it into left center field. And the one thing about Chris is the way he hustles and can cover ground on the bases. Heiss knew he had to get that ball in a hurry, and does, to keep Bryant to a single.
So that brings up Anthony Rizzo with his buddy Bryant on first, getting a small lead over there. Cravey not paying attention at the moment. He just brings the pitch to Rizzo. Rizzo takes a curveball inside corner for a strike. A fastball, actually.
Be a good at-bat. Cubs are up 3-0. Anthony knows he's getting some inside fastballs and has all game long. Take a shot at those right field bleachers.
0-1 to Rizzo. Chris Bryant leading off at first. Cravey brings the pitch and swung on and missed by Rizzo. A hefty cut by Rizzo, but he comes up empty, 0-2.
Yeah, both of these pitches from Cravey, fastballs down and in. Anthony with two big swings. He's taken some rips at home plate today, that's for sure.
So Cravey does look over at first this time. The 0-2 to Rizzo, and whacks it foul, upper decks in right field.
That one was inside, probably a good 6 inches, but with that swing and choking up on the bat, it's going to be tough to get in on Anthony through all the heaters he's seen inside today.
So the 0-2 count to Rizzo, instead a throw over to first, and Bryant dives back in safely. Ben Zobrist is on deck. Tyler Cravey in the game after Matt Garza started. One of the runs scoring on a Matt Garza wild pitch in the third with Dexter Fowler plated. Anthony hanging in there at 0-2. The pitch to him, swung on and missed, strike 3. Rizzo is out, and that's the second out of the inning. So Bryant still on first base. That'll bring up Ben Zobrist.
Cravey must do a pretty good job at hiding the baseball. He's gotten some swings and misses from guys. He had the punch out of Montero, and left-handers is what I'm guessing do not pick the ball up because of his delivery. He kind of shows you the back of his jersey and then kind of wheels around and throws. And he elevates that fastball pretty well.
And here's the pitch from him to Ben Zobrist. Yeah, I'm joking around about the fact that they have no lefties. They're really just pointing out the fact that that exists. It's actually a pretty decent bullpen that Milwaukee has, despite the losses of Will Smith and Jeremy Jeffress. They've got some good arms there. Tyler Thornburg at the end, Carlos Torres, the veteran. And the pitch right here is a ball high. So 2-0 on Ben Zobrist with Chris Bryant over at first still.
Yeah, sometimes your minor leagues, in certain positions get a little depleted. where you just don't have anybody big league ready. And that's probably the case for the Brewers.
Mm-hmm. There goes Bryant. Got a huge jump. Here's the throw down to second, and he is out at second base. No argument from the Cubs, and that ends the inning. Sudden death to this Cubs' seventh inning as Chris Bryant gunned down by the Milwaukee catcher Manny Pena. So at the end of 7 innings, it's the Cubs 3, Milwaukee nothing on the Score on the Xfinity Cubs Radio Network.
Can't wait to talk about the Cubs game. We start every morning talking Cubs.
Of the 7th inning as Montgomery brings the pitch, and it is a little bit low for a ball on a curveball.
Yeah, it's a good throw by Pena and an excellent tag by the young shortstop Arcia. Bryant did get a pretty good jump, but Arcia, the throw took him up the line, and he ended up catching and tagging Bryant in the feet well up the line.
Next pitch from Montgomery is a changeup in there for a called strike, so 1-1 to Manny Pena, who, just a heck of a throw. We've seen 2 really nice throws from the catchers from both teams today as Montgomery brings the 1-1, and it's inside for a ball, so 2-1 as Miguel Montero was able to throw out Jonathan VR earlier in the game. Or no, actually it was Kirk Neuenhuis. It was VR who was picked off by the Cubs starting pitcher Trevor Cahill, who pitched quite well today. Montgomery now with a 2-1 pitch to Pena, and he drives it into right field. That's going to get down just in front of Jason Hayward for a base hit to right field. So Pena aboard to begin the 8th inning for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, pretty good piece of hitting as he gets this fastball or cutter inside and just dumps it in front of Hayward. And now Milwaukee will end up using a pinch hitter, but a good piece of hitting by Pena, and that'll probably be the end for Montgomery.
Yeah, it's going to be the end because the guy that is coming up, they're not booing Mike Montgomery nor Joe Madden, who's walking out to the mound. They are booing the man in the on-deck circle, and that would be Ryan Braun, who will be the pinch hitter for the Milwaukee Brewers as we wait to see if Joe Madden will make the pitching change, and he does make the change. It looks like Hector Rondon coming into the game. And Cubs pitching changes are sponsored by GhostBed, supernatural sleep comfort delivered right to your door. Visit ghostbed.com. Hector fancy against Trevor Cahill, so that might be why he did not get the start today. One would probably presume that Braun will start in Game 2, but let's talk about right now, and that is Hector Rondon facing Ryan Braun, who's put another excellent season together in his most recent game, a 2-homer, 6 RBI day, the second time this year that Braun has had a 6 RBI game. So he steps into the delight of the Wrigley Field crowd.
Yeah, Braun, an excellent ball player, big-time season, hitting .328. He's got 22 bombs on the year, and this guy is a dangerous hitter, one of the better hitters in the National League.
So Pena gets his lead at first, and on the first pitch from Rondon, Braun pops it up into high center field, shallow. Dexter Fowler camps and makes the play for the out. 1 out, 1 pitch here in the 8th inning from Hector Rondon.
Yeah, for Hector, he's going to love that. He makes a good pitch with a breaking ball and has Braun out in front, and he just lofts his ball into center field. The sun could be an issue, as we talked about right at the beginning of the broadcast. It's a high sky today, but bright sunshine. Dexter Fowler battling the sun made the catch.
And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Jonathan VR, with Manny Pena still on first. Hector Rondon brings the pitch to him. Fastball right in there for a strike. 96 mile per hour from Rondon on that pitch. So VR with an 0-1 count. Rondon brings it. Swung on and missed by VR. 0-2.
By another good heater by Rondon. Elevated that one just to the top of the zone. See if he can mix in one of these heaters down and get punch out of VR.
Yeah, Rondon with a recent triceps soreness, so to see him throwing 96 on back-to-back is very encouraging, and the pitch is inside this time to VR, so 1-2. And Rondon had a rough inning his last time out against the Cardinals with that 3-run homer to Steven Piscotty. Gave up a couple home runs in the inning. Just getting his groove back here after being down for a few days with the triceps. As he brings the pitch, that was off speed, and it was low for a ball. So 2-2.
Yeah, I think for Rondon, he missed. He just didn't get used for about 12 days. So him coming back, his last start, everything was up in the zone after the first hitter, and he paid the price.
So the 2-2 now to VR, and it bounces away, a wild pitch. So Pena easily trots down to second base. So Pena on second with one out. Cubs lead the Brewers by 3 here in the 8th inning. A gorgeous day at Wrigley Field.
Boy, it really is. It's packed house here at Wrigley once again. It's just amazing, right? It's a Tuesday, 12:20 start. 41,000 people show up here for the first game of the double dip.
Here's the pitch to VR, and he fouls it off. Yeah, if I was on Facebook right now, I would click like. Because I like it.
You like?
I like the scene.
Oh, the scene.
Beautiful
okay,
scene.
yeah, okay.
The beautiful weather.
Yeah, it's
the clear skies.
I'm going to guess the people out in the bleachers are having a very good time sitting here watching the game here at Wrigley today.
And you know there's some people that are dedicated to 2 games. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Rondon lost him. He walks. So VR will go down to first. So the Brewers now runners first and second with 1 out here in the 8th inning. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Arcia.
Yeah, and he threw a breaking ball on 3-2, did Rondon. Threw 2 fastballs by VR early, and then a couple foul balls, couple breaking balls low, and then went with the 3-2 hook. VR didn't swing, and it was ended up down in the dirt.
So Rondon brings the first pitch, and that's high and inside a ball. And Miguel Montero says, okay, let's talk about this. And he trots out to the mound, gives the ball back to Rondon, a little pat on the back, and just out there to calm him down.
Yeah, Cubs with only a 3-0 lead with 2 men on. The tying run is at the plate. And you got to make quality pitches. To me, it would be ideal to pitch away from Arcia and make him hit this ball the other way. With the wind blowing in from right, you'd have to really blast one to hit it out of here to right field. Arcia with no home runs in his short stint here in the big leagues.
Yeah, just 3 RBIs. 0 for 2 today with a walk. Arcia hits one high on the infield. It is playable. Rizzo calling for it and makes the play for the second out of the inning. A big out for Hector Rondon as Arcia flies out on the infield. Nobody moves anywhere. So runners first and second for Milwaukee, 2 outs. And the number 3 hitter, Scooter Gennett, coming up to the plate. Gennett 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, that fastball from Rondon, 96 miles an hour in on the hands of Arcia. He couldn't get the barrel to it and just popped it up.
Make him hit it up in the air today. Again, the wind blowing in. Gennett up there, 10 homers, 39 RBIs. Here's the pitch to him, high and outside for a ball, 1-0.
This guy's a dangerous matchup for the Cubs. He's got 10 home runs, as you said, Mark, but he has a very short swing and really can be quick to the baseball, even with Rondon's 96-mile-an-hour heater.
Here's the delivery from Rondon, and that's in there for a called strike. So 1-1. The Brewers runners content to stay right where they are, getting small leads. Rondon not paying a whole lot of attention to either right now. It's about Gennett. Gets the sign from Montero. Here's the pitch from Rondon, swung on and fouled off. So 1-2 to Scooter Gennett. Big pitch in the ball game right here. Cubs with a 3-run lead. The crowd sensing the moment as well as the 41,000 plus standing up for Hector Rondon. A 1-2 count on Scooter Gennett with Brewers runners at first and second here in the 8th inning. Rondon will look back at second, brings the pitch to Montero, and it is fouled off out of play. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Rondon has thrown 14 pitches in this inning. Looks like Justin Grimm warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs right now. 1-2, 2 outs, 8th inning. Cubs lead by 3. The Brewers with first and second. The pitch to Scooter Gennett is outside for a ball. So 2-2 now. All twos.
Rondon went with a little breaking ball, tried to backdoor hook, and missed wide. See if he goes back to a fastball. I think he goes back to a fastball inside and tries to tie up Gennett.
Crowd is on it. Hector Rondon, chin down, looking for the signs, gets him. It's back at second, brings the pitch, and popped up. And it is in the infield. It is playable. Chris Bryant in foul territory calls it and catches it. Cubs are out of the inning. No damage done. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Brewers leave.
He expressed written consent of the Chicago Cubs. So far, so good, Mark.
Absolutely, Dave. You're rocking it back there, bro. I couldn't have done it better myself. We do go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Cubs 3 and Milwaukee nothing. Ben Zobrist to lead it off for the Cubs. And I was kind of hoping this man would pitch for the Brewers today. Damian Magnifico. Magnifico pitching now for the Milwaukee Brewers. And opponents' pitching changes are sponsored by Sloan, the proud water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs, providing smart water solutions for your business. Visit Sloan.com today. The first pitch from Magnifico to Ben Zobrist is a ball. Did you hear that, Coom?
What's that?
Damian Magnifico is pitching.
How about that name for a baseball name?
Wonderful.
It's magnificent.
Yeah. The 1-0 is upstairs, a ball, so 2-0 right away.
It's almost as good as Schuster.
No, nothing beats Schuster.
Don't forget me. Oh, wait, you can today, actually.
Yeah, don't forget, actually, yeah, if the Cubs do hold on to win, and they are leading the Brewers 3-0 here in the 8th, we'll have Bruce Levine with a winning Cub. Meantime, Ben Zobrist takes 3-0 from Magnifico.
I see Brucey down there in the camera well.
Yeah.
Soaking up a little sunshine. How you doing down there, Bruce? Very good.
Dude is a pro. He should be in the front row. He is in the front row. The pitch from Magnifico is high, ball 4 outside. Ben Zobrist takes his base, so a leadoff walk for Ben Zobrist.
Magnifico, big right-handed kid, throws hard in the mid-90s. At last heater 96, but it missed high for a ball.
So Addison Russell comes up with a man on first and nobody out.
This could be a good matchup for the Cubs, man. Magnifico with good fastball up. See if Addison Russell can get the barrel one of these heaters.
Here is the pitch to Russell, and therefore a called strike on a slider. And Russell, one of the 3 Cubs RBIs today. A sac fly in the first inning, scoring Chris Bryant. Magnifico looks over at first. Ben Zobrist getting a pretty decent lead, leaning second a little bit as Russell awaits the pitch high and inside for a ball. So 1-1 now to Addison Russell. And Manny Pena, the catcher for the Brewers, wants to go have a talk with Magnifico. And also want to give credit to Melissa Rokaikis. She is our highlight coordinator today. I had said Rick Camp, who is one of our highlight coordinators and producers as well. But I was wrong. Me. It's Rokaikis, who is entitled to have her name pronounced correctly at all times. Addison Russell with a 1-1 count against Magnifico. Ben Zobrist getting his lead over at first base. The Cubs trying to add to a 3-0 lead. Chris Coughlin on deck, getting the start in left field today. Magnifico's 1-1 is a throw over to first instead. And Zobrist diving back in safely.
In the Cubs bullpen, probably get the 9th inning, I got to believe. Soft tossing Aroldis Chapman.
There he is. Number 54 for the Cubs.
Say soft tossing because he's only probably tuned it up to about 95 right now.
Here is the 1-1 to Russell, and it hit him. Got him. It got him on the right hand, and he's trying to shake it off. Looks like he's in a little bit of pain. He is taking his base, walking slowly to first base, as I said. Was shaking off that right hand, but now he's not going to it at all. So it looks like Russell is okay. And the bigger picture is that the Cubs have runners first and second with nobody out. And before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on this, The Score, and the Xfinity Cubs Radio Network.
Mully here. This is where the Cubs play. We are Sports Radio 670 The Score, WSCR and HD Chicago, WJMK HD2 Chicago.
Along with Ron Coomer, I'm Mark Grody. Cubs leading Milwaukee 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. In for Pat Hughes today, who has a planned day off. He will return tomorrow. Meantime, the Cubs with that 3-0 lead, and they have runners first and second. Nobody out. Chris Coghlan coming up to the plate to face the reliever for Milwaukee, Damian Magnifico. Coghlan today is 1 for 3 with a run. Also made a nice catch in left field, on which he did collide with Addison Russell. Got the wind knocked out of him, but he's obviously okay. As Magnifico looks back at second, and Zobrist now brings the pitch, and it gets away from the catcher, and everybody moves up 90 feet. As Pena couldn't handle it, so the Cubs now runners second and third, and nobody out. And that does go down as a wild pitch.
Yeah, and Magnifico, he's having trouble here in his first big league appearance. He's walks the first guy, hits Addison Russell. Now, this guy throws hard, but he's been a little erratic so far in this inning. I got to believe 41,000 people will do that to a young guy, and pitching here at Wrigley Field, so he has been erratic so far.
That said, the pitching coach Derek Johnson out to huddle up with his young pitcher and gives him a pat on the back, as does his catcher Manny Pena. Just an obvious calm you down moment here at Wrigley Field.
You know, here in the game with the Cubs up 3-0, nobody out here in the 8th. Craig Counsell will play the infield in. Middle guys will play even with the bag, and the corner guys will play in.
And the 1-0 to Coghlan is a ball high. 2-0 to Coghlan with Cubs runners at second and third. Addison Russell at second. Ben Zobrist at third. Infield in, as you said, Coombe. And Chris Coghlan with a chance to put this game away. Magnifico brings the pitch, and that is in there for a called strike. So 2-1 to Chris Coghlan with Jason Hayward on deck. Game 1 of 2, a split doubleheader between the Cubs and the Brewers, make up from a rainout from earlier this year. The Cubs had that mini 2-game sweep, I suppose you could call it. But the 2-1 count to Coghlan, and it is low for a ball. 3-1.
Nobody warming up in the Brewer bullpen. So with a 3-1 count in second and third, this inning is on Magnifico.
Damian Magnifico brings the pitch, and there's a little blooper into right field, but it is going to be caught by Hernan Perez. Tagging up and trying to score is Zobrist, and he slides safe at the plate. Ben Zobrist tagged up a close play at the plate, a good throw from Hernan Perez, but Zobrist slides in safely, and the Cubs lead the Brewers 4-0 here in the 8th.
Perez with a good strong throw as the wind catches this ball and brings it in. Zoe slides in feet first and does a good job of sliding directly into home plate and getting that foot down on the plate as he ends up beating the throw. And now Craig Counsell wants this play to be reviewed. And as big a run as this is in the ball game, I can definitely understand, as close as this play was, to be reviewed. And the issue all the time on these plays at the plate is whether or not Zobrist beats the throw, which he does, but it's whether or not his foot comes down on home plate or does it glide over the top of home plate. And that is the big issue that everybody has. And I believe that's what Craig Counsell was seeing as I see a second replay. As Zobrist's foot hits the ground in front of the plate, it bounces up a little. And I'm not sure whether or not his front foot hits home plate before the tap.
Yeah, in real time, he did look like he was safe, but it's a great point by you. And the crowd is reacting because it looks like he's safe, but the leg is up, so it's hard to tell if he actually touched the plate.
Yeah, what happens for the base runner is you're sliding, and you're going to beat the throw, but your spikes end up catching the ground about 2 or 3 inches in front of home plate, and I believe Zoe might be safe, but his heel does hit home plate first, I believe. But what happens is you slide in, your front foot is extended and leg is extended out. When your cleats hit the dirt, instantly after that, your foot comes up off the dirt, and you hover over home plate, only an inch or two, but you go past the plate, but you have not touched the plate at times. And with that being said, there are times where you will be called out with the replay. You cannot see that as an umpire, but you can with different camera angles, and that's what has happened a number of times this season.
Again, the Brewers challenging the tag up and score of Chris Coughlin from third base, whether or not he got the foot down on the plate. Chris Coughlin would be credited with the RBI if it stays as is. Coughlin with a pretty shallow fly ball into right field. That's kind of the way everything is going with the wind blowing in. Hernan Perez making a good, strong throw to Manny Pena at the plate. Zobrist called safe on the field, and Craig Counsell and the Brewers hoping for different once they go to New York, and they say he is safe. So, plate that run. The Cubs still lead the Brewers 4-0 as replay confirms that the home plate umpire, Carlos Torres, was correct. So 4-0 Cubs here in the 8th. 1 out. You have Addison Russell still at second. Jason Hayward at the plate.
Guys, it's interesting now that it's not currently a save situation. Joe Smith is now warming up, and Aroldis Chapman has sat down, so maybe Joe Madden thinking, maybe I'll just save him for the second game if he's even needed there.
Meantime, Magnifico facing Jason Hayward. The pitch is a little bit outside. Yeah, it's a good point. Anytime you can, at this point, conserve probably your best reliever in Aroldis Chapman, that's a good idea. So 1-0 to Hayward with Russell on second. The pitch from Magnifico in there for a called strike on the outside corner. 1-1.
Well, you think about this ball game, and the situational hitting for the Chicago Cubs has been incredible. 2 sacrifice flies in this game, one by Addison Russell, one by Coughlin, and then the bunt to score the third run of the game by Trevor Cahill on a safety squeeze.
The 1-1 is inside and low to Hayward, a ball, so 2-1. And that's one area that Joe Madden admitted that he wanted to see his team play better, is situational hitting. As Magnifico looks back at second, getting ready for the 2-1 is Hayward, and that ball is low and outside for ball 3. 3-1 on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball from the rookie Magnifico.
Yeah, Joe Madden talks about it as moving runners along. That's the key, is in tough ball games, and that's what's, October baseball is exactly what he's talking about. You've got to be able at times to just move runners along when you're facing good pitching.
No doubt. So 3-1 now, 1 out. Hayward with a little blooper, or actually driven a little bit better than that, into center field, camping under it as Broxton makes the catch and the out. Addison Russell staying put at second base, so 2 outs now here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, fastball inside, and Hayward didn't quite get the barrel to it. It's a fly out to center, and now it'll be up to Miggy to see if he can drive in this 5th Cub run.
It is good, though, to see Jason Hayward getting some loft. I mean, we've seen a lot of ground outs from him this year. It's something he's been working in and day out with John Maley and Eric Hinsky and even probably Joe Madden. So that's encouraging. Unfortunately, it's the wrong day to put the ball up in the air.
Yeah, he hit one ball really good to right center field, and that ball got up in the wind, right in the teeth of it, and blew that ball back towards the infield a little bit.
So it'll be Miguel Montero now looking for a little 2-out magic, and he takes strike 1. 97. So Magnifico, we know that he has a good arm. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be, but he's bringing 96 and 97 on most fastballs. As Addison Russell getting a pretty good lead. Nobody checking him out there. So the Cubs with a 4-0 lead. They scored 1 run in this inning. And Miguel Montero trying to make it a high 5 for the game. And he takes a fastball outside. So 1-1. 1-1 to Miguel Montero. Did gun a guy out, trying to steal second on probably his best throw of the year down to second. Great throw to nail Kirk Neuenhuis. And he stands in there now looking for some offense, and that is a high fastball. 2-1.
Yeah, Magnifico, he's just out of sorts here a little bit in this inning. 20 pitches so far in the inning, and he's just overthrowing the baseball. This is big league jitters coming into a game. That's what this is.
Montero 1 for 3 in the game. Magnifico to Montero. And there's a drive into right field. Going back is Perez at the track at the wall and caught. So Montero hit it well, but another victim of the wind, and the inning is over. And Neuenhuis, glad to have you with us here in game 1 of a doubleheader. We're just getting started here, man. Day-night doubleheader. Coomer's going to buy us food in between games. Or wait a minute. Is it Schuster?
No.
Miska.
Thought the guy doing play-by-play was buying the new guy lunch or winning the attendance game, but sounds like he's bailing on you, David.
Here's the first pitch to Carter. It is in there for a strike call.
You want to go double or nothing in the second game, Mark?
No, I would take his lunch, David, if I were you.
But I'm going to get lunch and dinner now if I win.
Here's the 0-1 to Carter. It is low and outside. This is not a save opportunity, but if it was this season, all save opportunities for the Cubs are sponsored by ComEd Energy, the efficiency program. Save with rebates on smart thermostats. Learn more at ComEd.com/rebates. So 2-1 now on Chris Carter.
Aroldis Chapman is warming up just in case.
Cubs have made some defensive changes. We'll give you that after this pitch.
And the pitch is outside for a ball, 3-1.
So Javi Baez has been brought in to play second base. Zobrist goes from second base to left field. And then Wilson Contreras has been brought in behind home plate.
The 3-1 pitch to Carter is a called strike on the outside corner. An 89-mile-per-hour sinker from Joe Smith. Cubs leading 4-0. Trying to win game 1 of this doubleheader. The pitch from Smith is way outside, ball 4. Carter on base. And it'll be interesting to see how long Joe Madden will wait before he brings in the big closer, Aroldis Chapman.
Well, I think he will not bring in Chapman until it's probably a save opportunity. If one more guy gets on, then it could possibly be the case. But I know Joe would like to see Smith be able to pitch out of this.
Hernan Perez, a grounder to third, diving stop by Bryant, over to second for one, back to first, safe there. Excellent diving stop by Chris Bryant to get Carter at second, and safe at first is Hernan Perez. But a terrific play by Chris Bryant to keep that ball from going to the outfield.
Yeah, great play by Chris. Great reaction. As this ball's hit sharply, he catches this ball fully stretched out on a dive and ends up getting this ball to Baez, so the Cubs get the leading runner. But Chris doing a great job at third base as always. Just a nice reactional play.
So one out here in the ninth inning. Man on first is Hernan Perez. Kirk Neuenhuis is the batter, and he takes ball 1 from Joe Smith. Addison Russell with a sac fly in the first. Dexter Fowler scoring on a wild pitch. Trevor Cahill with a bunt RBI to score Chris Coughlin on the safety squeeze. And then Coughlin with a sac fly in the 8th. And the pitch to Neuenhuis in there for a called strike. So 1-1 the count with 1 out. And RBIs this year to make sure all of your business goals get across home plate. Make the Village of Bedford Park a winning home for your business. All right, the 1-1 now to Neuenhuis is in there for a called strike. So 1-2 now on the slider from Smith. As Kirk Neuenhuis steps out of there to adjust his batting gloves.
Right-handed side armor is usually a good matchup for a left-handed hitter. Neuenhuis took the big sweeping breaking ball in the last pitch.
Here's the 1-2 and fouled off out of play. Neuenhuis today 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Talked about his 2-homer game against the Cubs. All sorts of significant Cubs-Brewers games, or I should say eventful Cubs-Brewers games this year. I don't know if significant is necessarily the word. But Neuenhuis now ready for the 1-2 from Joe Smith, and it is fouled straight back towards us. As Coomer gets the right hand out there. Just reaction from Coomer. Look at that. It's a hot corner moment.
Just be ready. I don't want to see you dive under the table if one comes sizzling up here at you.
Nor do I want to dive out of the booth. Not a whole lot holding you back. Man on first for the Brewers. Cubs lead 4-0 here in the 9th inning. The 0-2 way outside. A nice catch by a jumping outside Wilson Contreras to keep that from going to the backstop and the runner advancing. Does not advance. 2-2 though, well outside. With Wilson Contreras, the late add-on for Miguel Montero behind the plate. Here is the pitch. Another ball well outside. So now the count 3-2. So Kirk Neuenhuis having a good at-bat as he works the count full. 14 pitches so far in this inning from Joe Smith, with Aroldis Chapman still gently warming down in the Cubs bullpen. And here's another foul ball. Off to the left of us this time in the upper decks. So the count remains full, 3-2, with a man on first.
Cubs with a 4-0 lead here in the ball game. Anthony Rizzo playing behind the runner at first base. That's Perez, who walked. Cubs just looking for outs here with one out.
The full count pitch inside, ball 4. Kirk Neuenhuis walks, so the Brewers now runners first and second and 1 out, and the Cubs leading by 4. And here comes Joe Madden out to the mound as the entire infield converges, and Joe Madden makes the call to the pen. Aroldis Chapman will enter the game. And Cubs pitching changes sponsored by GhostBed. Supernatural sleep comfort delivered right to your door. Visit ghostbed.com. Joe Smith exits. Aroldis Chapman about ready to enter. The Cubs lead the Brewers 4-0 on the score, and the Xfinity Cubs when they see the miles per hour that Aroldis Chapman does throw. But he's got a job here right now. You don't want to let this game get away from you. Leading 4-0 are the Cubs. As Broxton steps up to the plate. Keon Broxton, the center fielder for the Brewers. As Aroldis Chapman looks back at second. Now brings his first pitch to Broxton, and it is high for a ball. 99 miles per hour on the first pitch from Aroldis Chapman.
But you'd love for the Cubs to see Chapman get out of here, get these 2 outs with under 10 pitches, and probably be available then for game 2.
The 1-0 to Broxton, fouled off to the right side. So Broxton late getting around on a 98 mile per hour fastball. So 1-1. Chapman adopting the Joe Smith runners at first and second, and 1 out. Manny Pena on deck for the Brewers. Pena and then a pinch hitter for Magnifico. And the runners go, and they are going to pull off the double steal. No throw by Wilson Contreras. So Milwaukee runners second and third.
Well, that's a stolen base or a pair of them. And that's one of the things with Chapman and a lot of closers. Their concentration is with the hitter, not with the base runners. And Milwaukee moves up 2 bases.
So the pitch to Broxton now is swung on and missed. Strike 2. 2-2.
And I promise you, Broxton has never seen a fastball quite like that last one at 101.
101 mph. Crowd reacting to that as much as they were the fact that he is 1 strike away from striking Broxton out. And here is the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Broxton out on strikes. On another 101 mile per hour fastball from Aroldis Chapman. 2 outs.
And that's just gas down and away. You know, when you can throw 101, that's one thing. When you can locate it, that's another. That pitch just above the knees on the outside corner for strike 3.
Manny Pena, the catcher for Milwaukee, representing their last hope. As Aroldis Chapman gets ready to go to work. Milwaukee, runners second and third, 2 outs. Cubs lead by 4. Aroldis Chapman, liking what Wilson Contreras is putting down, brings the pitch, and it is in there for a called strike. Exactly 100 miles per hour on that. He's losing velocity.
Yeah, Pena with only 17 at-bats this season in the big leagues also has never seen a fastball quite like this one.
Beware in game 2. They will have seen it. Here's the 0-1 now, and that's way outside. Wilson Contreras with an animated jump to make the catch. Animated is a good word for Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, Willie is a high-energy guy. Great fun to have in the clubhouse. Just called up this season, but he is a high-energy player.
It's great. I love talking to him. 1-1 to Manny Pena as Chapman brings it high and outside as Wilson had to pop up once again. So 2-1 now with the Brewers runners at second and third. 2-1, 2 outs, 9th inning. Cubs lead by 4. 41,848 at the park. And they're all on their feet, clapping along, cheering along for Aroldis Chapman. The 2-1 pitch to Pena, and it's a popper right side. Rizzo drifting over. It is out of play. So 2-2. Now you'll hear this crowd really rev up.
Yeah, that's a good slider by Chapman, and Pena not ready quite for that slider either after seeing a couple 101s tilt up on the board.
That's what a lot of hitters say, the part that really isn't fair, that he'll throw that 101 mile per hour fastball, then he'll come at you with a wacky slider.
Yeah, he throws a slider, and if he throws a strike with it, very little you're going to do with it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cubs trying to win it here in the 9th inning. Aroldis Chapman to Manny Pena, and it is inside. Almost hit him. Pena had to jump out of the way of that one. He went down to his knees, and the count full on a 103 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah, that heater down and in almost blew his boot off. That's that fastball right at the feet of Pena, and he moves to get out of the way, but the ball is already in Wilson Contreras' glove.
There's no taking one for the team when Aroldis Chapman is pitching. Here is the 3-2, swung on and fouled off on a play to the right side.
Now, this is a big pitch because the issue is with 2 men on, a home run does not tie the ball game. You do not want to walk Pena and bring the tying run to the plate.
Yep, Martin Maldonado, who has not had an at-bat yet, the semi-regular catcher of the Brewers. He is the man on deck right now. But, like you said, Ron, it'd be nice to get Manny Pena here. 3-2, and the pitch from Chapman is swung on. It looks like it's going to be caught by Wilson Contreras in foul territory to end the game. Cubs win. Cubs 4, Milwaukee nothing. There's just a little number out in front of the plate, and in foul territory, Wilson Contreras sprinted to it, made a nice sliding catch to end the game as the Cubs beat the Brewers 4-0 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Nice play by Wilson Contreras to end the game.
Yeah, very athletic play as he goes about halfway down the first base line on a little fisted shot. And I guarantee you that one's going to leave a mark on the thumb of Pena because that hurts, that 101.
No doubt about it. And Aroldis Chapman got up to 103 miles per hour on the clock. That's where we saw him maxing out. Our Bruce Levine is on the field right now. We are tracking him up here in the booth. He is going to have one of the Cubs winning players here. The Cubs beat the Brewers 4-0 as the Cubs celebrating on the field, going to the high five line right now. And if it really is American Legion Week, they should probably be high-fiving the other guys. But let's go down.